following is an exclusive presentation of Turner Sports.
One more time for Terry Labonte, the new Winston Cup champion. NASCAR Craftsman Truck King, Ron Hornaday. The man of all seasons, Earnhardt. Five-time 1996 winner, Rusty Wallace. 10-time 96 winner, Jeff Gordon. And Daytona 500 champ, Dale Jarrett. 1996's best, ready to rack them up one more time with all the action, furor, and excitement that's their trademark. When the Labonte brothers wrapped things up in Atlanta, it marked a season past. But this will be a season unto itself. Once more, there's a race to be run, an adventure to be taken. They've traveled 7,000 miles across 14 time zones to Japan. Not just America's best racers, but their cars, their equipment, and most important, their spirit. Welcome to the NASCAR Suzuka Thunder 100. Good evening in the United States and good day from Japan. We're coming to you live on a beautiful day. Temperature in the mid-50s, just about weather perfect. 300 miles southwest of Tokyo is where we're located at one of the most prestigious racing courses in the world, Suzuka, on the Pacific Coast. For the first time, NASCAR has brought its officials, 27 cars, and its style to a foreign nation. Konnichiwa, yokoso Suzuka. Yes, welcome and a good day here from this beautiful road course, where NASCAR has brought some of the finest racers from America. 11 Winston Cup champions are here, 3 Winston West champions, 2 Grand National champions, 2 truck champions. A couple of great road racers are here. Wally Dallenbach, a former Trans Am champion, and the great Robbie Gordon, who won a couple of IndyCar races. And there are 2 national Japanese champions as well. So here on this Sunday in Japan at Suzuka, it looks like a new beginning for NASCAR and for racing, stock car racing as we know it. You know, it was about 50 years ago, I remember a promoter that came out with a new concept, and he was disparaged and laughed at, and people said that he was promoting super jalopy races. My, how far Bill France Sr. has brought us with his vision. And today his son's vision has brought us to perhaps a new page in world stock car racing. Let's take a look at the format right now for what we're going to be seeing. 100 miles is the 140 miles is the distance, 100 laps, and there are 2 50-lap segments with a break in the middle there. But here's the interesting part. The top 10 in the first segment are inverted for the second, like an old Saturday night special. And the purse for today's race, pretty good pay. $617,000, $104,000 to the winner, which brings to mind with my co-host here, Buddy Baker, his 1980 winnings at Daytona, which were
$104,000 for a 500-mile victory in Daytona.
Yeah, my, how far we have come here in Japan to this exciting road course, and your impressions of it, Buddy.
Well, you know, when we first got here, I could not wait to get over here and look at this course. I've watched Formula One cars run here before, and it was everything I thought it'd be, and then some. I'm going to tell you what, it's a slick racetrack, and if you make a mistake here, you pay for it.
Well, we're getting down towards the starting time. All the field is lined up, 27 strong. And as we get ready to go towards green for this first race in foreign waters, let's have a postcard from Japan. We'll do this a few times during our telecast to give you a glimpse in the field of where we are and what we've been doing.
Suzuka 100 on TBS is brought to you by Circuit City, the official home electronics and appliance store of NASCAR. By Prestone Antifreeze. Protect your car in the Prestone zone. And by Wendy's Smoky Cheeseburger with rich smoky flavor in every bite.
For the very best in home entertainment, the place to go is Circuit City, where right now this RCA digital satellite system is just $199.97 after $200 cash back from DirecTV. Just sign up for 1 year of DirecTV's Total Choice programming, and the RCA DSS system is yours for only $199.97. Get more movies, more sports, more news, more channels than cable. And right now at Circuit City, you'll pay no interest for 12 months on any digital satellite system. Hurry into Circuit City today.
3 out of 4 new car radiators are made of aluminum, thin, lightweight, and under tremendous stress. This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will hit, corrode, and fail. Protect your car in the Prestone zone. The Prestone Antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone zone of dual protection against corrosion and temperature extremes. Don't put your car at risk. Protect it in the Prestone zone.
Dear Dave, after session last week, we had these smoky bacon cheeseburgers. One bite and we said, man, whoever made this has paid his dues. 3 strips of hickory smoked bacon, smoked cheddar with that sauce, all on a 1/4 pound of fresh beef with sauteed onions. Dave, it was so delicious, Lucille and I played a whole set of Lowdown Blues. Your pal, B.B. King.
Dear B.B., keep smiling. You'll beat those blues yet.
Try Wendy's Smoky Bacon Cheeseburger Combo.
Face it, no other razor shaves closer or with more comfort than Gillette Sensor XL. Soft microfibs that protect your skin and individually spring-mounted twin blades that adjust to your face. No razor feels more comfortable during your shave or leaves your face smoother after. Gillette Sensor XL. And try new Gillette Shave Gel. Now, the best gel takes care of your skin, too.
They call it Reiko, thunder and lightning here in Japan, and that's what they've been hearing. They've never heard anything like those Winston Cup cars as they prepare to run this East course. There are actually 2 courses here at Suzuka, and the 1.4 East course with 8 turns is where they're going to be addressing themselves today for some very fast action. This main straightaway, what, 170 miles an hour?
170 miles an hour, and you go all the way down the 2nd gear to get into turn 1.
Yeah, it reminds you of what? I'm trying to think what road course in America is. Well, a little like Watkins Glen, where you dive all the way down and then make that hard right-hander. It's somewhat similar to that, but the altitude drop is incredible. It's about 43 feet from the top down to the bottom, and then the back part of this course is just one wild S-turn, actually 7 of them, and it climbs back up a mountain out here and then swings them back down again. It's going to be pretty spectacular racing for everyone, and fortunately, we only had a couple of cars get bruised out here, one of which was Herschel McGriff. He took a pretty good ride, but right now, let's take a look at this course, buddy.
Okay, this is the start-finishing line where you see the white marker there. 170 miles an hour, 3rd gear there, 2nd gear. Now, turn 2 is the most difficult part of the racetrack. Turn 3 is the start of the S's. As they go up through there, you hug each side of the race course, trying to stay as low as you can in the corner. This is an uphill grade in the turn 8 where you really set people up to pass them. This is a very important corner. You have to get through there to pass people down the front straightaway.
So that's a bird's eye view of this course. Now let's take a look at a driver's eye view with Rusty Wallace.
hard brake into turn 8. Exit turn 8, exit turn. Here we go. Got to pass these guys. This is where a lot of stuff's going to happen right here. Coming at the start-finish line again.
There's no question about it. This track is a handful. It's dangerous, and Wallace loves it. And if you don't believe me, well, you can talk to Rusty Wallace. Here's Steve Burns with him.
And that was a great view of getting around the track here at Suzuka. And Rusty Wallace, in fact, is on the pole. Rusty, gosh, you guys have been hard at work. This is not a vacation.
No, we've been paying a lot of attention. We're really focused over here. Everything's going great. We haven't torn anything up, thank God, yet. The team's prepared for the race. We're handling good. The engine's running good, so all systems go right now. Let's hope I can keep it on the track and keep it up front.
Have you had any time to have fun, though?
Not really. I've came over here to win this race. I really have. I have had a little fun. Been going to bed pretty early every night. My days and nights been getting messed up with the travel stuff, but had a nice dinner last night. Miller Brewing Company people took us out, but I'm having a great time. These people in Japan have treated us so nice. They've been so gracious to us, and but I tell you what, I am ready to get back home and get ready for the Daytona 500, but it's been a fun trip so far. This first 50 is going to be exciting, but I'll tell you what, that second 50 is going to be the deal, because I think there's going to be a lot of drivers racing to 10th place so they can start up front.
Rusty, where do you want to finish in that first segment?
Well, you know, I've come here to win the race, but I'll tell you what, this track position is really tough. I'm just going to run this race and see how it turns out and just take it as it goes. Robin's up in the grandstands this time, calling some shots from up there so he can see the whole facility, him and Don Miller. So we're in good shape. Like I say, we're prepared. We feel good about it. We've been paying a lot of attention.
All right, man, go buckle up.
Thanks.
And folks, I'd also like to say it has indeed been a privilege to be part of this event here in Japan with TBS Sports. Well, it's now my honor to introduce a man as a part of our broadcast team who was born here in Japan. He's also raced on this track and now lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, Mr. Kenji Momoto.
はい、どうもありがとう。ですね、スティーブさん、いろいろと説明してくれましたが、Welcome to Japan、ここがですね、鈴鹿サーキット三重県からこれからアメリカのNASCARの皆さんに実況生放送でこの初めてのNASCARレースをお送りしたいと思います。So, I just said that Welcome to Japan, so thank you for watching on TBS today. So it's gonna be a great event today. So it is the first ever NASCAR event in Japan. So next to me, so I'm introduce you guys, Mr. Fukuyama. So he's gonna drive the number 23 cars. So then, how do you think about today, Mr. Fukuyama?
そうですね、その前に一言、Hello Jimmy, Hello Jimmy, how doing? My name is Fukuyama, nice to meet you. ジミー・スペンサーにちょっとご挨拶しました。レギュラードライバーの。
So he should say that he just hello to Jimmy Spencer. Actually, Jimmy, this is Jimmy's car. So he's gonna be a dark horse today. Okay, yeah, go back to Ken.
Thank you. There is another Mr. Excitement for sure. He is the three-time Formula 5000 champion over here in Japan, and he'll give that. In fact, they've been quite impressed with what he's got done in the car and what he was able to tell them. It's going to be a fun race, an action-packed race, an exciting event, buddy.
It is that, and the one thing that everybody's going to enjoy today, all 8 corners are very treacherous, and if you get off the course, you're in a sand trap, and believe you me, there's plenty of them.
8 of them to be exact. Well, another postcard from right here. Look live. There's the Ferris wheel here at the Suzuka course as part of the gigantic entertainment program that surrounds the track. At night, lights up like a Roman candle. Quite a place.
Sunday morning on TBS, the epic story of love and war. Winner of 8 Academy Awards, Clark Gable, Vivian Lee, Gone with the Wind. Sunday morning at 10:35 Eastern on TBS.
If you're a real car enthusiast, you should get Auto Week every week.
Auto Week has the latest news because it's a weekly.
All the new models and all the racing news. It's all in Auto Week every week.
I'm into going racing with my buddies, and Auto Week gives us information to talk about before it's old news.
Call 1-800-232-1522 now for a full year of Auto Week at the lowest price ever. Just $19.95 for 52 issues. For true car lovers, once a month is not enough.
Mercy. That'll keep you warm at night. They get prettier every year.
Earl, dinner!
You thinking about trading yours in for a newer model? No. 35 years never done me wrong.
Go ahead and stare. It's a genuine Thermos brand.
Nice. I'll see man at his best. And children at their brightest. I'll feel the power and the glory of a great story on a super flat system screen that adds dimension. A dome sound system that surrounds me, and I'll direct it all from the palm of my hand.
The new Super Flat System TV from Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time.
First came Tagamet, then Zantac, then Pepsid, but the newest, Axid, now in non-prescription strength as New Axid AR. A medicine so effective, for many, Axid AR can prevent heartburn completely. New Axid AR.
This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will corrode and fail. But Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone zone of protection against corrosion. It's your car. Protect it in the Prestone zone.
Suzuka Racecourse live on a bright December Sunday, where the hot dogs and the sushi share equal billing each day in the Speedway cafeteria. Dick Berggren is ready to join us on pit road.
Ken, there's an awful lot to like about this racetrack for sure, and Rusty Wallace, who we just had take us for a ride around the Speedway, this morning in the drivers' meeting pointed out what a safe place this is. They've got good big runoff areas and soft walls for the drivers to run into, and that's very comforting for sure, because it's a very, very fast racetrack. We've all had a good time here in Japan. Some people have done a fair bit of shopping and sightseeing, and we've got an amusement park everybody's going to have a good time at, but if you really want to find out where the drivers are, you've got to go to the shopping center.
They got everything here. It's a combination store. You get Bugs Bunny or a suit? I know what you're saying, I don't. You can't find a pair of shoes in there. You can't find a pair anywhere. This is you right here. Huh? Elton John. Standard issue. Elton team John. Shoe right here. That right there is what we need, isn't it? I don't think Roger will. Good on the side there. You give that Jeff Gordon. Yes. The place that we drove, but we came around the bus the other night. Hey, I know that guy. We found somebody. Ask if they can find your charm. Where you want to go? A nice jewelry store. I'm trying to find my wife a charm. Oh, there you go. We went to 6 jewelry stores. Can't find nothing. Yeah, well, good luck. I found you a pair of shoes. You'll see it on there. Are they about this? I'm not going to tell you.
East meets west at the driver's lunch. Chopsticks? What are we eating here? Hot dogs or cold, raw fish?
Wait a minute, you guys talk our language. Stand up here.
Okay.
Hey, this is
well, you sit here. We're going to choose two, and you can maybe show these two how to use the top. Oh, no problem.
I'm with the 1996 driving champion, Terry Labonte, and the question to you is, are chopsticks a good way to lose weight?
I think they would be. That's pretty tough there.
We're going to have an interesting day today with the field being inverted. They're going to start the guy who finishes 10th on the pole. Now, what are you going to do in this first half? Do you want to finish 10th? You're going to try to win them both.
Well, I think the first half here, we'll just try to see how our cars work. We think it's pretty good. See if we need to make any changes on it for that second segment. So it just depends a lot how your car's handling, I think. It's awful tough to pass here.
And let's go to Ken Squire.
There's been a sad note here at Suzuka. NASCAR veteran Elmo Langley died here Thursday from a heart attack. He was 68. For the last several years, Elmo has led each Winston Cup race, shepherding the field to a green flag from the pace car. But in the 60s and 70s, Elmo was one of the field. He won 2 Cup races, qualified for 532. To his final moment, he was able to play a role in the sport that defined and enriched his life. Thursday, he was giving an old adversary and friend, Buddy Baker, a driving tour of this course. Buddy remembers Elmo happy as he shifted for the final Suzuka turn and left us all behind. To his racing friends, to his family, our condolences. Godspeed, Elmo.
TBS Destination Sunday. This Sunday on National Geographic Explorer, Mummies. The ancient art of preserving bodies has come back from the dead. Mummy hunters. Then on Topics. Angels on their shoulders. Hear the real-life stories of guardian angels from the people they protect. The comfort, the power, the mystery of angels. National Geographic Explorer, followed by Topics. This Sunday, 7 Eastern, only on TBS Destination Sunday.
Hey, what do you mean NASCAR's extreme? Don't they just go around in circles? Yeah, but when you're circling with the big boys, things tend to get a little extreme. You got a problem with that? NASCAR, extreme and always has been. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR, and always has been.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? You're out! Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1, so don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
Ice Sport, the scent of exhilaration. New from Aquavelva. Also available in deodorant and antiperspirant.
No automotive company has won more races over the last 30 years than Chevrolet.
In America, there exists a sport that is driven by the fans. They are why everyone works so hard, on the teams and at the tracks, in front of the grandstands and behind the scenes, to give the fans the greatest race possible. NASCAR fans deserve the best, starting from the high banks of Daytona, all the way to the shores of California, and at every race in between. NASCAR fans, you're the reason for our success. Thanks.
Aluminum. Most new car radiators are made of it, making them a big target for pitting and failure. But Prestone Antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone Zone of protection against corrosion. This winter, protect your car in the Prestone Zone. And now there's a new Prestone Antifreeze with a new low-tox formula for an extra margin of safety around pets and wildlife. New Prestone Low-Tox. It's extra protection in the Prestone Zone.
Why float through life when you can drive?
For years, one rotary tool set the standard. There was nothing better. There was also nothing else. But now there's a premium rotary tool, the Ryobi Multi-Tool. It shapes, cuts, sands, strips, routes, grinds, and polishes, all with more power for a lot less money. The Ryobi Multi-Tool, just one of our many premium power tools that give you pro features at an affordable price.
Suzuka, Japan is where the action is today. The Thunder Special 100 getting set to roll. And let's go down trackside right now to meet some of the principals. Steve Burns.
5 minutes. And Ken, Jeff Gordon, the 1995 Winston Cup champion, the runner-up this year, but I got to tell you, he's the undisputed six king here in Japan. Jeff, how about your Japan experience?
It's been great. You know, this really been an interesting, fun one, and something that I'll never forget. And you know, I think all of us have really come together as a group over here in Japan, and it's really been a lot of fun, and look forward to coming back. But it's not over with yet. Still got this race to run and put on a great show for these Japanese people.
All right, best of luck. Let's go to Kenji Momoto.
Dory King, so means drive to king. This is his nickname, so he's a very famous driver here. So, Mr. Tsuchiya, Keiichi Tsuchiya. So, 今日のレースはどんな感じで持ってきたいと思ってますか？
いや、もう初めてですからね、初心者ということで、周りをよく見ながら、周りの状況でレースを進めていきたいと思います。
So just he said that this is the very first time. He don't know what's going to happen. So he's going to look around his driving. So その他に何かありますか？言いたいこと。
まあできればタイヤ交換を50周の間に1回入れてくれたらお客さんにもっとパフォーマンスが見せられるんじゃないかなと思ったのがちょっと残念かなと思いますね。
So he wanna try to have a tire pit stop. So he's a little bit sorry about that because the NASCAR changed the rule a little bit. So but he's gonna be in good shape. So thank you very much.
どうもありがとうございます。
Thank you very much, Steve.
Kenji, this is a talented field. Mike Skinner's a former truck champion. Next year, he'll run the full Winston Cup schedule with his teammate Dale Earnhardt. Mike, how about business today? You start in front of your new teammate.
Well, he beat us on the racetrack, but my pit crew had a little bit better stop than they did, and so we get to start in front of them. I don't know how long we'll be in front of them, but it's a good deal. It's a good opportunity for Snap-on Tools and Chevrolet for us to come over here and do this thing. And
okay, Mike, let's go to Dick Berggren.
Robbie Gordon has been one of the fastest drivers since we all came here to Japan, but he's starting all the way back in 21st spot today. Why? Part of qualifying was a pit stop, and on his pit stop, the crew let a tire go, ran across the racetrack, cost 15 seconds. Question to you is, can you do it from this far back?
Oh, it's a long race. It's 100 laps. You know, the guys did the best job they can. You know, things happen. I drive off the road every once in a while, too. So, you know, we're just going to ride around and do the best job we can. Hopefully we get into the top 10 before they invert it for the second half. That's going to be the most important thing.
Everybody's shooting for that 10th spot. Steve Burns.
And Dale Jarrett's had a great year. 4 big wins, including the Daytona 500. Dale, what will win today mean to you?
Well, Steve, it'd be pretty special. You know, the first race overseas for NASCAR. Yeah, I know this is supposed to be an exhibition race, but we're all wanting to get to the front. And, you know, want to say hi to all the fans back in the United States and thank them for their support all year. You're the ones that really make this sport what it is, and we certainly appreciate that.
Okay, let's check in with Dick Berggren.
And what a story in the back of the field. In 1946, they paved a racetrack in Portland, Oregon. The guy who won that race was Herschel McGriff. In 1950, he won the Mexican road race. Finished in 9th spot in the very first ever Southern 500. They opened a racetrack in Australia in, 1968? And he was there. And on another historic occasion, at age 68, here is Herschel McGriff. You keep showing up at all of these inaugural events. What do you think of this one?
Well, this has been a great thing for me, and I think it'll be probably one of the highlights of my life. And I'm really looking forward to a great race. We've got a lot of good cars here. The people are so nice here in Japan to us that I'm already anxious to come back for next year.
You got off course earlier during the practice session. Car was badly torn up. You haven't had a lot of practice. You're all the way in the back. How does this thing feel? Can you get it to the front?
Well, I hope so. It worked pretty good. We did get out a few minutes in the practice, but I missed all day yesterday, and I really needed that because it is a new track and to get everything figured out. But I think with these 2 segments, I'll have a little time to play with the car back here and maybe make some adjustments at the halfway mark and then go from there.
Let's go to Steve Burns with another big story.
Well, there's that familiar number 3, Dale Earnhardt, known as the Man in Black. Today, he's the Man in Blue. He has new colors for the race here in Japan. Dale, I know you guys have had fun here, but now it's time to get down to business.
Well, it is. A little disappointed in our miscue on the pit stop yesterday, but we had an awful good lap going, and we had a flat there on the second lap, so we was lucky to really get to where we are. And you know, it's a lot of works went into this. We've been over here 3 times, so we're looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting race. We'll see how we can do, see how we can move up. We got some tough competitors in front of us. It's going to be tough to pass on this track.
Well, this car is fast whether it's black or blue because of the man sitting in the driver's seat. Now let's go to Kenji Momoto.
So Wakita. So this is his hometown. So he was born in Suzuka City. So he knows this course well. So he's going to start from the 24th position today. But どうですか今日はこの24番手からなんとか泳げできそうですか？
そうですね。頑張って完走して泳ぎたいと思います。
So he just said that he just want to finish this race, but そんなこと言わないでもうちょっと、頑張りそうななんかまだもうちょっとまだ車に慣れてないのかな。レース中にどんなことを考えながら乗りますか？
どんどんいろんな自分で試して、完走したいと思います。
So I just asked, do you have any plan during the race? He said that he want to try anything he wants. So he just want to try. So he's going to be at Dark Frost today. So this is it. Back to Ken.
The entire field a bit of a dark horse on this one, folks, as we get ready for the first 50-lap segment. Ready to turn them on and get going here this afternoon at the track at Suzuka. Japanese competitors, Japanese crowd, but an American flavor in this one as NASCAR's very best have come to Japan.
I own an auto repair center. And when it comes to helping people make good decisions about their cars, I recommend All Pro and bumper-to-bumper auto parts. Look, cars don't break down on schedule. When I need quality parts, All Pro and bumper-to-bumper come through with expert service, a great selection, competitive prices, and convenient hours. I depend on All Pro and bumper-to-bumper because my customers depend on me. So when you need an auto parts specialist, whether it's in my garage or yours, shop where I shop. All Pro and bumper-to-bumper auto parts.
The world is a magical place, and one camcorder captures it like no other. Only this Panasonic camcorder has a 16:1 optical zoom, a motion sensor for automatic recording, a full-size 4-head system for brilliant pictures, and tapes that play in your VCR. Only Panasonic gives you all these features. Now get a $25 rebate on select models for a limited time.
It's tough to describe a headache. You just want it gone. But not with aspirin. Advil's a lot gentler to my stomach. There's Tylenol, but 2 Advil work better on tough headache pain. There is Excedrin, but that's aspirin, and the ingredient Tylenol, and caffeine. I don't want all that. I'll go with Advil.
Advil contains the #1 doctor-prescribed pain reliever in its class.
Nothing is proven to work better or last longer than Advil. Nothing.
Advanced medicine for pain.
TBS presents Matlock Mystery Monday. Every Monday, Ben has 2 tough cases.
Oh. Benjamin Matlock for the defense, Your Honor.
Matlock Mystery Monday. Every Monday at 8:05 Eastern. Turn to TBS.
Start with the global resources of CNN, add the style and savvy of Sports Illustrated, and you get what the Associated Press calls a blockbuster. CNN SI, the 24-hour sports news network.
Daniel Shields, the principal officer of the U.S. consulate here in Japan, has given the order to fire them up, and they're cranked for the last time as we're coming to you live from Nagoya, the Suzuka course in Japan, the 3rd largest city, nearly 5 million folks in this area, big automotive industrial portion of the country. And here is your starting grid today. The 85 Winston Cup champion Rusty Wallace is on the point with Ernie Irvan alongside. Row 2 will be Michael Waltrip, and with him 2-time Daytona champion Sterling Marlin. Going back to row 3, there you've got that truck driving fool Mike Skinner, who's going to Winston Cup next year, and look out, he's going to be tough. Dale Jarrett's right there as well. In row 4, it'll be Terry Labonte, the new Winston Cup champion, and Jeff Gordon, the 95 Winston Cup champion. In row 5, the 7-time champ Dale Earnhardt and Ron Hornaday, the new Craftsman truck champion of NASCAR. In row 6, it's Butch Gillian, Winston Westar, and Wally Dallenbach, twice Trans Am champion of the U.S. In row 7 is David Green, the 95 Grand National champion, and Nakaya of Japan. In row 8, Lance Hooper, the defending Winston West champion, and Toshiya, the Grand Touring champion of Japan. In row 10, Bobby Hillin is there, and Fukuyama, 3 times the Formula 5000 champion of Japan. For row 10, you have Scott Gaylord and Joe Bean ready to compete today. In row 11, Robbie Gordon, twice a winner in IndyCar racing, and of course from 85 to 90 just controlled everything in off-road racing. Rick Corelli's there as well from Denver, Colorado. In row 12, Larry Gunselman from the West Coast and Waukita. Row 13 is Johnny Benson, former Grand National champion and the greatest champion NASCAR has produced over so many decades, Herschel McGriff. As Dick Berggren was pointing out to you, there's the last row, Dan Obrist. He just goes back to the very beginning, that very first race at Darlington in 1950 when he finished ninth.
But the real incredible part about Herschel McGriff is he won the Mexican road race in 1950. It was a 2,000-mile race, and he won by 72 seconds.
We've got one car that's having a little problem out here as we get them cranked up and try to get going. The number 03 is down. Joe Bean for a moment. West Coast competitor. Now again, the race format for today is two 50-lap segments, 15-minute intermission between them. The 70-mile goes. So fuel is not going to be an issue on this. Tires, well, this is the same tire they've run at Sears Point, and it's the same tire all the way around on all four corners. Top 10 reversed at the end of the first 50 laps. Ought to make it fun because you know that Rusty Wallace is out here to crank this one up and go. And of course, if Earnhardt has anything to say about it, he'll win both segments just because he wants to. They're trying to push Joe Bean's car off. It has come to a stop just below turn 8. And turn 8 is that final portion of the course before you swing back down into the main straightaway. Serpentine back straightaway, which you take mostly in second gear, right?
All the way from turn 1 all the way to turn 8 is in second gear, and you cut the corners, and the car actually leaves the ground on the inside of the racetrack going through the S's.
There you see them coming by Joe Bean's car as it climbed that hill. That's a pretty good climb too, buddy.
It is that. You can see that's even steeper than the front straightaway, and going into turn 8 you go almost straight uphill.
Getting ready for a start. We're going to have to push Joe Bean away, so we'll take a quick commercial break and then be back to give you the green and the race from Suzuka.
And now from Paris, from Milan, from St. Louis.
Introducing a new look from Budweiser, Born on Dating. It's the day your Bud was born, because fresh beer tastes better.
Nice label.
Thanks.
Leave it to Peerless Faucet to create a shower so smart, it can not only sense when a toilet has been flushed, it can also adjust the water temperature accordingly. Scald Guard technology by Peerless. Get more out of your faucet than just water.
Roll into Pep Boys right now and get a full set of 4 70,000-mile tires for just $169. That's any size, any 4 70,000-mile tires in stock for just $169 at Pep Boys now.
Rudolph, I told you, hard right. We're supposed to be in Havana in 5 minutes, guys. Look at my flag. You gotta be kidding me. Look at it. Somebody's in deep trouble.
Oh, yeah. The VersaPack system by Black & Decker. Versatile, economical, and it makes a great gift.
I don't think Bob will mind.
VersaPack by Black & Decker.
Huh? Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? You're out! Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1, so don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
Fastest man in football in action. Okay, Rocket, show us how easy it is to dial 1-800-COLLECT.
I just did it.
Did what?
Dialed 1-800-COLLECT.
You did?
Can we go to replay? 1-800-COLLECT. It's fast, it's easy, it's safe.
Field coming by. I believe they have one more before they're going to turn them loose out here as they come down out of turn 8 as we speak to you live from the Suzuki course in Japan for NASCAR racing. Let's go to pit road. Steve Burns.
And Joe Bean has just pulled into his pit stall. Talk about a heartbreak. They have no oil pressure. They think they've lost the dry sump pelt. A heartbreak right now for Joe Bean.
7,000 miles, and it happens before it starts. That's
Boy,
a
I
tough
tell
one.
you, when that happens, that's it. Everything quits working in the motor, and it gets absolutely no oil to it, and it'll burn it up in a moment.
Take a look at the in-cars, buddy. It's Terry Labonte, Kellogg's car for Rick Hendrick, starting 7th in this event. Gave us that great show at Atlanta to finish the season in Winston Cup racing.
You see him zigzagging there. What they're doing is cleaning the tires off and getting some heat into them. They won't work until they get a little bit of heat.
Pole sitter, stuck right up behind that pace car, Rusty Wallace, who really turned a lap. Remember, he was one of the 2 teams that came over here and did some testing earlier, and I guess it paid off for him. Earnhardt had trouble on his pit stop, or he might well have been up front. Take a look at the suspension. This is going to be fun to watch today. Hi, Snake. Little message back home from some of the crew on car 2. Now, this is from Fukuyama's car, the number 23 car, Travis Carter machine. They're very high on this guy. They said he really understood the balance and the weights, brake bias on this machine, and there he is himself, Mr. Fukuyama, ready to go NASCAR stock car racing.
Travis Carter's high on him, I tell you. He says he knows
Cecil
the
Gordon.
chassis very well.
Yeah, Cecil was up on him, too. As you see the field coming around, getting set for a start. Going up to turn 8, where Elmo Langley passed away the other day, and all of these cars are bearing the number 64 on their flanks in memory of Elmo as we get down for this start. Pace car is in. We're ready to go racing. You're watching it live from Japan here on TBS. Down comes the field. Wallace has it in tow with Ernie Irvan alongside. Green is down, and here's Ernie Irvan trying to make the jump.
What Wallace is trying to do there is counter him going down in the corner. This is very important to be leading going into turn 1 to get set up for turn 2.
Track position is everything on this course.
Fukuyama off the race course and out into the sand there.
And right back on again. Wild beginning. Number 12 in trouble. It slid off. Dan Obrist picks it back up and gets back on it another time. Wallace and Irvan in a frisky fight up in front for that lead. Coming through turn 7. And Obrist has pulled it off. And Obrist in a bit of a problem here in the early going. Coming around with Wallace in the lead. And look at him, double him up. You said you couldn't run 2 abreast on the backside. In third, Michael Waltrip is right there, but beating on the side of his car. Here comes Sterling Marlin looking for third, and Jeff Gordon coming with him.
Well, anytime you have the inside, you see he has the preferred line, and Mike just had to give him room there. Jeff Gordon's got the inside, but going down into the next corner, I don't think that he'll be able to make the move, Jeff Gordon.
And they're still side by side back there. Finally gets it. Here's Obrist in trouble. Wow. That's trouble. Nice little 360, and thank you very much, and on his way. Well, look at this, still side by side. Gordon trying the outside. They said it couldn't be done. Whoa.
He's got the inside coming in the corner. You see Jeff Gordon had picked up the position for Mike Waltrip as they start up through the S's.
So Gordon has picked up a couple more spots. Great racing in the early moments of this one. And here comes Sterling Marlin, pounding down the inside, up into second spot. He goes looking for the leader, Wallace.
Look at this 3 wide going into turn 1. That's Ron Hornaday in the 45, and of course Dale Jarrett in the 88. Michael Waltrip beginning to fade just a little bit.
Yeah, he's using that. Now he gets it down. He got stuck on the outside, but look at those front 4 closed in. Exciting racing. Take a look back here as to where Earnhardt is, letting the field come through for you. Give you an idea of their position around this thing. Obrist on the back, bringing it in.
Ooh, I saw some smoke there. You could see a car light up the rear tires. It's a very, very off-cambered corner, the 8th corner there. And if you go in there too hard, you'll light up the right front getting into the corner. I mean, a big plume of smoke getting down in there.
Back in 9th position is Earnhardt, as he has made some quick moves and tried to pull himself up with that front group. Lapping Obrist on that critical turn 1 from 170 miles per hour down to about what to make that first turn, buddy?
Well, you drop all the way down in the 2nd gear, so you go down from 170 miles an hour, probably down in the low 80s.
Here's the front 4. Here you see as Gordon comes up through in the 3rd spot. Back in 5th is the 21. Quite a climb to the top of this thing. Is a tremendous climb, and then that drop at the main straightaway. Oh boy, you get in the brakes there.
He got off in the sand just a little bit, getting into the corner. 3 wide as he come down toward the front straightaway.
Unbelievable. That's Dale Jarrett trying for 5th spot on the 21, and he's got him, and they're going to stack him penalizing there. Meanwhile, Wallace further back makes his run, and you see Hornaday in that number 45.
Ken, that's impressive when they come down the front straightaway 3 wide. There's only room for 2 cars in that corner. You can see they really got on the brakes and sorted that out before they got there.
Mike Skinner hasn't got it sorted out with his 2 teammates. Earnhardt. Obrist comes into the pits. He's out of this race. Brings it to a halt. And we can get a quick word on that number 12.
And Dan Obrist just into the pits. I talked to his crew chief, John Irish. He said when the 12 car got into the gravel, it got maybe in between the tire and the rim. They've got a very loose tire, and it's also a disappointment. Their sponsor is a children's hospital. Everything they win today, they will donate to the hospital, so he wants to get back out.
Jeff Gordon was running in 3rd. He came wide out of 8, got it all the way out, did some serious agricultural racing, and dropped back a spot. Meanwhile, look at Sterling Marling closing on Rusty Wallace. As you look back from Rusty's car, these live pictures coming to you from Japan of this battle for the lead. It's Wallace in 1st. Take a look back further in the field, and you see a big fight going on. Michael Waltrip trying to hold off Skinner and Earnhardt.
The Suzuka 100 on TBS is brought to you by Midas Auto System Experts. What can we do for you? And by the Canon PowerShot 600.
When you have kids, you practically live in your car. So when something goes wrong, they come along.
That is Midas in Richardson, Texas. Buddy Pace put in a play area.
People's needs vary, but the Midas system for taking care of cars never does. We give your brakes a thorough inspection, we explain your options so you'll know what to do, and we guarantee brake shoes and pads for as long as you own your car.
It's the Midas way, a better system for you and your car.
Kids we don't fix.
Midas, Auto Systems Experts.
For the gold, the new Rebel G. Get the ultimate rush.
We like Neil Smith mean, so we get his mother-in-law to call him collect before each game without using 1-800-COLLECT. Could have saved you some serious cash, Neil. 1-800-COLLECT. Save the people you call up to 44%.
When should you use Arudis KT?
I don't take it for every headache, but some headaches.
It takes 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol to get the same relief of just 25 milligrams of Arudis KT.
Now for those headaches, I've got a choice.
Potent Arudis KT.
From stock car racing to races on ice, Mobil 1 has never let a driver down. From 35 degrees below to 135 above, Mobil 1 has never failed. No wonder every Corvette, Viper, and Porsche comes filled with Mobil 1. Of all the oils in the world, there isn't one that outperforms Mobil 1. At Mobil, we've been changing oil for over 125 years.
We have a full course caution at lap 6. Michael Waltrip erupting an engine. Full course yellow. He's laid down some oil, and there are the standings. with Wallace, Marlin, Irvin, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett now in the top 5, followed by Hornaday. You see Michael Waltrip walking away. Take a look at what happened to Michael Waltrip out here in the Wood Brothers, number 21.
Just past the start-finishing line, you can see a big plume of smoke coming out of the back of the number 21 car of Michael Waltrip. That's a bad sign. That's either an oil line or he completely ruptured the engine.
$75,000 bonus was the potential because he'd won the Winston Select back in May at Charlotte. Not to be for Michael Waltrip. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, all of Michael Waltrip's crew is just standing around watching television here in the garage. I'm with Eddie and Lenny Wood. And could you guys tell what happened to that thing? What made it blow up so demonstratively?
I think we lost the transmission. I don't know. He said he got off the course, and I don't know whether he'd done something then or what. But
well, when you lost the transmission, would that cost the engine, or is all that smoke just from the transmission, Len?
I think that's from the transmission. We'll see when we get it back in here, but long way to come for a short time.
You gonna fix it?
We're going to look at it and see what's wrong.
Well, everybody's got transmissions here, Ken. They're going to try to fix it, maybe.
Len Woods, 6 laps, and the Wood Brothers and Waltrip's hope of getting himself a shot at a bonus out here today goes away. Here is the 21 being pushed in. We'll take a commercial break and be with you once again with our coverage of the Suzuka Thunder Special 100.
This Thursday, TBS gives you 3 great movies to be thankful for. Legend, Willow, and White Fang. It all begins this Thanksgiving Day at 12:35 Eastern. Turn to TBS.
Tuesday night NBA on TNT. The Rockets are off to an explosive start thanks to Charles Barkley. Watch Houston take on Portland. Trailblazers Rockets Tuesday night at 8. The NBA's on TNT. Don't miss a game.
Good. Good. Wise.
I drive 150 to 200 miles a day. Well, my truck's my life. If it weren't for my truck, I wouldn't be making any money. So wherever the houses are, I go. And my truck's got to get me there. I learned from my grandfather used Pennzoil, my dad used Pennzoil. I've been using Pennzoil for about 15 years, ever since I got my first car. I go through it by the case. I work hard for my money, and I want to make sure my money's working hard for me. I buy my oil at Walmart. I'm here all the time, and I know I'm going to get the best prices, and I don't have to shop around anymore. Nobody touches my truck but me. That's my baby.
When it comes to tough hand tools, we're making a name for ourselves because they're made with a full lifetime warranty. That's Ace, the name to know for hand tools.
You and I have a lot in common. I look at you, I see myself.
Pay too much for auto supplies and you'll feel like one too. And Pep Boys get $5 back on a pair of quality Sylvania headlights. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
Now you can go behind the scenes with Ernie Irvan in this exclusive video documenting his triumphant return to racing by ordering Miracles Happen, the Ernie Irvan comeback. Call 800-385-3087 and get your video now.
Take a look at the top 10 here at the present time. Back to Terry Labonte in 10th spot. Been some real shuffling out there. Jeff Gordon had a strong 3rd and fell to 4th as he had trouble up here in turn number 8. NASCAR brought everything over except their usual scoring. I would think they might have wished they brought it because the scoring's been a little bit behind here. But, say, let's go to Steve Burns.
And while Michael Waltrip was having his problems, Johnny Benson made a pit stop. The brakes were too cool, they said. They taped up some of the opening, and as you can imagine, the brakes are so critical on this road course. So they taped up some of the openings. Hey, let's go to Dick Berggren.
And Michael has just arrived here in the garage area. What was it? Engine, transmission? What happened?
Transmission. It wasn't the transmission's fault. I messed up. I missed the gear a little bit and overrevved the thing and tore it out. So we came a long way to run 4 or 5 laps and have a transmission go away, but we're going to put another one in it. Citgo wants to be here, and we want them to be here, and nobody can see us if we're in the garage, so we'll go run some more anyway. Blew a chance at 75 grand and 6,000 miles. I feel like a real dummy, but...
And he could use the money, too. He's going to take his wife off to Maui in a couple days so they can celebrate their 3rd anniversary. I bet that'll cost a couple bucks.
Yeah, he may be on a tramp steamer now. That was a bad day for Michael. Front of the field, a guy on the move, 42, Robbie Gordon, 21st, up to 14th position. And Earnhardt, he's on the attack, too. Here's number 3. Earnhardt just coming by. He's in 8th spot. Sterling Marlin's been having a time of it over here. He's up into 2nd spot and ready to beat on the rear bumper of Rusty Wallace for sure as we get set for another go. Field getting organized. I think we're about another lap away before they turn them loose. Sterling Marlin in that 2nd position, number 4. A little difficult getting used to the food he's been getting over here. A little tough, huh, Sterling?
Not really. We had a hard time getting French fries yesterday at a restaurant, so we noticed it was on the kids' platter, so ordered some kid platters just to get the French fries. You couldn't substitute, so we're making out okay.
We've been having a good time. There's the 28. Ernie Irvin started outside of the front row, lifted up to 30, taking a look at number 5, Labonte, been having a good, solid day once again.
I can add to one part of Terry Labonte's drive right now. He is not using the pulsator that he used in Atlanta to numb his hand. He said it shorted out in Atlanta and really started electrocuting him a little bit, and he had to jerk it out. So he decided to just take a shot this morning and grin and bear it.
That's Terry Labonte, who's traveled all his distance, still having trouble with that knuckle, which he broke in that race at Phoenix and went out and still finished 3rd. Kellogg's car. Let's go to Dick Berger.
Well, Ken, if you're going to go 6,000 or 7,000 miles to race, you better have a couple of spares. But the amount of spare parts that some of these guys have brought are just absolutely mind-boggling. I'm in the 21 pit. You take a look down here. This is an entire front clip. Hubs, brakes, chassis. The entire frame of the car is here. Right beside it, a complete engine, ready to bolt in, ready to go on the race car. Behind me, this is the rear end package. On the bottom is the rear end, oil cooler, all the vents and tubes and all the rest of it. By the way, this helps get the car through customs. 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units. Interesting technology in the garage area for racing on the other side of the globe.
Do you have any trouble getting through customs, Baker?
Oh, I'm telling you right now. You know, I'm watching these guys, and everybody said, you know, some of them will probably lay back and try to finish somewhere like 10th so they can start in the 2nd segment up front. I don't see any of these guys resting. They want to win both segments.
They sure do. And that's been the story here from the very first lap when you saw that big move by Ernie Irvin. He pulled up on Rusty Wallace. Sterling Marlin came firing up through the field, made a couple of quick moves to get himself a little closer to the front, started in 4th. He's now in 2nd. Jeff Gordon, he's been flying for a while forward, then it backed up on him. He had started in 8th, had come up to 3rd. Now you're riding in the pace car with Wallace. You really got to shake those cars to get that rubber off those tires, don't you?
You really do. When they're hot, been out running like you have been and get the tire hot, it'll pick up all the excess rubber off the racetrack, and it'll get an inch deep on the tires. So you have to move it back and forth like that to scrub the excess rubber off the tire.
That's what you see them doing, and there you are approaching that turn number 1. And that turn 1, after you're running 170 miles per hour, that shortens up into a 30-foot cross. So if you get in there 2 abreast, you better be ready.
It's a reality check, I'll tell you that. It'll tell you how aggressive you are. You go down in there on the outside of a pretty good race car driver. For me, I would think I would just soon back off just a little bit and try to get under them coming out of turn 2.
12 laps, almost 17 miles have thus far been completed. Here's Fujiyama a bit further back in the field, right up behind. And you get an overview of the course here, once again, to give you an idea of where they are racing on the East Course here at Suzuka. Now that first turn again, 30 feet wide, and you're shifting these big cars down from 170 miles per hour to make that horseshoe.
Ken, you would think that turn 1 would really be the dangerous turn, but turn 2 is the one you have to watch out for. Once you get into 1, you're pretty well there, but you start to accelerate again, and then turn 2 is really tight. You have to turn hard right to get towards the S's.
Field getting ready, pace car coming in. And as we come down to take lap 13, they're back on the green.
Boy, Rusty got a great start there.
So does Butch Gillian in the 38. See that red car, second red car back? And they're 3 wide coming down.
That's Robbie Gordon on the inside, further on back there, making it 4 wide down towards turn 1. You see Jeff Gordon and all of them kind of sorting out single file there, but Robbie Gordon was 4 deep coming down the front straightaway.
Wallace stays up in front, Marlin in second, Gordon is falling back to third, and Wallace's rear view. Ernie Irvin trailing along right in there next as they swap some positions around, but not that lead. Wallace is led from the very outset here at Suzuka. To the top of the course, now fly away all down this main straightaway. Gordon there in third. Ernie Irvin maintaining fourth. Just behind him comes Dale Jarrett in fifth, followed by Ron Hornaday in the 6th position. Riding with Ernie Irvin in 5th position into turn 1. Gives it a go, pulls up a little, but not enough to close up on that man just in front of him.
You can see him cutting across the ripple strips there on the inside of the course. Well, right there, the car actually leaves the ground on the inside tires when you start through the ripple strip.
Earnhardt comes to 7th. Earnhardt up to 7th. Rusty Wallace still out in front.
Boy, that's a good shot of Sterling Marlin. He's getting up close and personal there as they start up through the S's.
And the 13th spot has come Robbie Gordon. There is a man on a mission back there in the Felix Savenis, number 42.
I think Jeff Gordon's got a lot of race car in 3rd spot right there. He looked to the inside just a second ago at Sterling Marlin as they started off turn 8, thought better of it, fell back in line, but I think he has a very fast car today.
Earnhardt looking for some room to try to gather him up. Gordon took a sneak peek on the inside of Marlin out of turn 2. Here he is, still trying to get him. Still after him.
Again, in this first segment, they'll be talking to the crew chief and telling them exactly what that car needs and what adjustments they need to make. Right now, it would be almost critical if you had to make the green flag stop.
There's just no way around this thing without letting those rear ends loose. You're trying to keep them as straight as you can through the corners, but not here at Suzuka in Japan. Coming by, they're going to pick up 14 laps this time. Front 3 have about 10 car lengths over the 4th place car. Back in 8th is Skinner. Dallenbach has come up to 9th, and into 10th moves Butch Gillian. Gillian's having a great ride. Now Robbie Gordon comes up to 11th. Terry Labonte in 12th, and David Green's got a 9-to-1 compression ratio engine out here that they happen to bring along, and he's doing darn well.
Well, I think this racetrack is the surface itself. You don't get a great grip on it. Maybe detuning just a little bit, you get a great forward bite off the corner. So it's probably making up for the difference down the front straightaway through the S's where you can't use a lot of power anyhow. You can see they
number
use
23 Fujiyama there.
You can see he's pretty busy there. He's working that wheel pretty hard getting around this racetrack. But they are really impressed with the way this guy drove this car this week.
Brake bias is all to the front on these cars when you bring them onto a track like this.
It better be. If those rear wheels ever lock, you're gone.
Remember, it's 50 laps in the first segment, and they're going to reverse the field.
You can see Robbie Gordon making another pass there. This Fujiyama right there, he's running very, very well.
Yeah, closes up on Toshika in the number 1 as they're working the 17th lap. Whoa, somebody got a piece of the inside there.
With Bobby Hillin, yep. That's Rick Corelli in the 61 there. When you see a puff of smoke like that, you always have to check just for a second, make sure it's not a motor problem on the car in front of you.
Saw Rick Corelli in the 61, and there is the one.
with Toshiya of Japan. He is the national touring champion, has a lot of experience, more than anyone else, on this Suzuka track.
You see everybody holding a very, very tight line. As a matter of fact, the inside tires were under the white line as they come through turn 8 there. You don't want anybody to sneak under you down through that corner.
Earnhardt continuing to pace himself toward the front. And Terry Labonte doing what he does in any race on any track, be it Sears Point or Watkins Glen or Atlanta, easing along up through the field in car number 5 for the Kellogg's folks. There he is, right after Butch Gilliam, that red and gold numbered 38. Interesting car there. Gilliam, an interesting driver. Remember, we saw him in a few truck races this year. There's a sign on the side of Butch Gilliam's car in Japanese. And I asked him if that was a Japanese sponsor, and he said no. What it said was, advertise here. He's driving one of the Bill Strop cars. As you know, Bill Strop passed away a year ago, but is certainly a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame. So here you are with Gordon trying to close in on Marlin and Wallace for the lead at Suzuka, where it's coming to you live. NASCAR outside the U.S. and another postcard.
All across America, there to see us through.
Racing engines endure severe stress, and your engine does too. That's why, under severe service driving conditions, Jiffy Lube recommends service every 3,000 miles. And we offer Pennzoil.
3,000 miles, you make us smile. America's Jiffy Lube.
Jiffy Lube, America's favorite oil change.
Get more boombox for your buck. Circuit City. You can't find a lower price. We guarantee it.
10 minutes and we're out of here.
Hi, Ralph. It's that pipe again. Will it take long?
Nah, only... Oh, DirecTV. A couple hours.
Well, lock up when you leave.
Sure.
DirecTV. Over 175 channels, digital picture and sound. It's satellite TV at its best.
Wow, does this blow cable away?
Comfy?
For the choice of movies, cable, and sports packages you can't get anywhere else, it's got to be DirecTV.
You know, racing for interstate means my battery has enough power to run my car, as well as some other race necessities, like this mini fridge, track lighting, my foot massager, a window unit. And for those long races, who could forget the espresso maker? Heck, I even had a big screen put in for my friends.
Interstate batteries. Power fast. Built to last.
Hey, Bobby, the burrito's done yet?
On TBS from Japan, Suzuka, NASCAR in action. Exciting race with Rusty Wallace out in front, Sterling Marlin in second. But the story is Robbie Gordon from 21st. He's rolled the Felix Sabetta's car into 10th position, and he's closing. Meanwhile, up in front, good hammer and tong battle between Jeff Gordon and Sterling Marlin in that second position. Seeing them coming down the main straightaway. Some 170 miles per hour, and then into that very tight first turn. 50 laps the distance. There they are around 1 and into this tricky turn 2. How about that for some racing? Ooh, getting a little loose there, buddy.
I guarantee you that was sideways if you want to be.
And sideways and all the way around. Is that Butch Gilliam? Spin, still trying to pick it up. Man. Trackside, it's a little dusty. They say it's Scott Gaylord that's done the big looper. Indeed, that's him. As he
got it around, and David Green squeaks through on the outside.
Some great driving on both sides. You see a car in the sand trap there trying to get by him on the inside, one on the outside. Everybody did a great job of getting through there without making it really bad.
Corner caution only, not all around the track. They're still wide open here. Wallace, Marlin, Gordon, Ernie Irvin, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then following them comes Dale Jarrett in 5th, and Earnhardt is up to 6. The other guy that's on the move is Wally Dallenbach. Just behind Ron Hornaday in 7th is Mike Skinner and Dallenbach, and they're having a duel of their own. Top of the course one more time, and Sterling Marlin tenaciously holding on. Another replay on Gaylord in number 50.
I think he may get a little, well, you see, he's on the outside. He gets just a little help there getting in the corner.
Scott Gaylord out of Lakewood, Colorado, Denver suburb, gets himself a wild ride here in Japan. First time driving a BMM car. That was a ride for him. Invited by Bill Strausser to take this one. We got another look at this one, too. Down on the inside, you saw Toshiya of Japan just barely missing the bullet. 23 of 50 now complete, towards halfway in the first 50-lap segment.
That's Herschel McGriff sitting there right now with some kind of problem. This will probably bring out a full Porcello.
Herschel McGriff, 68 years of age. He got off the other day in practice and bent both the front and the back of the Dana 04. And once again, there's a problem here, and he is down, but I don't see caution. Yes, yellow is just out. Second caution of the day is just being flown, and it's for the man from Bridal Veil, Oregon, Herschel McGriff. So it keeps Wallace, Marlin, Gordon up in front as we're under yellow. Let's go quickly down to Kenji on pit road.
Okay, now, so three Japanese drivers are right now 13th, 14th, 15th position. So the highest Japanese driver right now, Mr. Nakaya. So he's my last name is Momoda. He also Momoda. So can I talk to something right now? So oh, it's very busy right now, so sorry about that. So
a little communications gap right there. Here's Wallace up in front, Marlin right with him. That's been a good show. Sterling pulled up a couple of spots at the outset, and he's not letting loose of Rusty Wallace in these first laps. Look at Dale Jarrett coming by, followed by Earnhardt in 6. Good run by Earnhardt. Steve Burns can give us some more details on pit road. Steve?
And Ken, as we just saw, Herschel McGriff was up. Tex, what happened?
Well, we lost the motor. We had an off-course excursion during the week. We skinned the car up. I guess we probably over-revved the motor and didn't catch it. But it blew up today.
What about left-handed?
So there's the story on the 04 as they push in the car that is being handled by Herschel McGriff. Golly, what a story. 36 Winston West victories for that gentleman, and we mean gentleman, too. Talk about the history of American stock car racing for 50 years. He's been a good part of it. Back to Suzuka and the Thunder Special 100 right after these messages.
Wednesday night, Shaq heads to Beantown for one of the league's classic matchups, Lakers and Celtics. Then, Pat Riley takes the Heat to L.A. NBA doubleheader begins with the Lakers and Celtics, 8 Eastern, Wednesday night on TBS.
I'll see man at his best. And children at their brightest. I'll feel the power and the glory of a great story on a super flat system screen that adds dimension. A dome sound system that surrounds me, and I'll direct it all from the palm of my hand.
The new Super Flat System TV from Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time.
Here we are at the world's do-it-yourself finals. Larry Snyder's up in the routing compulsories. This man's making a name for himself today. Very smooth. But can Larry and his trusty Ryobi tools handle the 4x4? He takes it deep. Out of here. This kid's coming in unranked. but he's got all the tools, the power, the touch. Oh, he's in the zone now!
Time management entails prioritizing, synergizing, reorganizing,
Earth to business guru. This is difficult. Well, at least Office Max, the office product superstore, is easy. Over 6,000 office products, including quality brand names like Fuji diskettes and Smeed file folders at guaranteed low prices that won't make that vein on your accountant's forehead bulge. Free delivery, too. Talk about time management. Office Max, we go to the max for you.
Under caution for the second time today, you're riding with Fukuyama in the Travis Carter number 23. They're in 16th position. This has been a lengthy stop, apparently an oil down out here on this 1.4-mile road course, the East Course at Suzuka. We're seeing a couple of pit stops. Bobby Hillen is coming in. Hey, this pays pretty well for the first segment, buddy.
Yeah, you know, we were talking, it's $104,000 to win the whole deal, but the first segment, the first 50 laps, $35,000. That's worth going after.
Yeah, and been going after it they have. You see the 37. That's Larry Gunselman from the west coast of the United States on pit road. What's going up? Let's go to Steve Burns.
And Ken, as you know, a little while ago, Johnny Benson made a pit stop because his brakes were too cold. They changed the ductwork to the brakes. He just came in again. They put on left side tires, figuring they had nothing to lose in the first segment. Bobby Hillen's also in right now, changing right side tires. Let's check in with Dick Berggren.
Well, Jeff Butcher is the crew chief for Scott Gaylord. Your car went round and round out there. What happened?
Yeah, it did. It's got to do a nice job for us out there. He passed two cars going in. I think it was like a bunch of these NASCAR boys trying to squeeze in a sushi bar. So, you know, he's okay. Didn't hurt the car none. So we'll see if we can't hustle her back to the front. I think the Strasser boys and the folks over here in Japan have been real nice. So having a lot of fun over here.
Yeah, they came in. They put 4 fresh tires on it, Ken. It was quite a pit stop. There's a downgrade to the pits here, and they had a real tough time getting the right rear off. But they got 4 fresh ones on. Gaylord's back out, and he's going to try to keep it going straight.
Scott Gaylord. Racing for a while. Of course, his dad did some pretty strong racing back in the 70s as a road racer. So we'll follow that story as it unwinds here today. Road course, strange, different, unique look to the 1996 season as some of the very best from 4 different major series of NASCAR and make it 5 with that the Southwest Tour as well. All very well represented here in Japan. And then you've got Trans Am champions and IndyCar winners and a couple of Japanese national champions in this field as well. We're at Suzuka, the course in Japan, and this is the first time that NASCAR has brought everything. I mean, their own, all except for the scoring, brought their own officials. They even brought their own records and rollbacks from the Century folks. They were brought over on the boat, containered over here to Japan for this race, and they will come back here one more time, and then they're building a 1.5 mile super speedway about 160 miles closer to Tokyo, and they intend within a couple of years to show us super speedway racing. And if the Japanese take to NASCAR Winston Cup stock car racing this form of racing like they did to baseball, look out. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, usually if we were going to ask questions about Rusty Wallace, Robin Pemberton would be the guy we'd be talking to, because Don Miller, the team manager, would be up on top of a grandstand somewhere spotting. But you're here, he's there. Don Miller, if you guys keep going this way, you win this first segment, you're going to start 10th in the second. Is that okay with you?
Well, I don't know. You know, Robin and I discussed that along with Rusty, and we're just going to kind of play our cards out. We're going to see how good the car really is, and then we're going to take a look at what's happening, you know, about the 40th lap, and then we'll make a decision and go for it.
What are you going to change in the pit stop?
What are we going to change in the pit stop? 4 tires.
And that's it?
That's it.
Okay, that means he's running well, Ken Squire.
Now there's a confidence level for you.
And if they were going to change something, they wouldn't tell us, I can tell you that.
Behind the pace car, Rusty Wallace giving you these pictures around this course as we get set on a restart today. Second caution of the day. Herschel McGriff brought it out. Engine erupted on his rig. Most of them are... Well, we've got a report from Steve Burns. Let's get down there now.
Hey, guys, Robert Yates, of course, has both cars here, Ernie Irvin and Dale Jarrett, and they've got guys doing double duty. So, look, they're sharing uniforms. What goes, guys?
Well, we just thought since we was going to pit both cars, we'd kind of give them both a little bit of advertisement. And I decided to wear quality care pants and Texaco shirt. And my partner over here, you can speak to him.
What about it, Brad?
Well, you know, everything's fun in Japan, so we figured we'd dress up fun. And thanks to our two sponsors, Texaco and Quality Care, we're here. Thank you.
All right, guys, thanks.
Yeah. They've spent a lot of time in the sushi bar, you can tell, huh? I don't think so. But they did find the McDonald's right here, and where Baker has been
That's
dining.
my hometown right there. I stay there.
Rusty Wallace scraping off those tires again. We are at lap 28. Hey, has the time changed from the U.S. to Japan? Caused you any problems, Rusty? How you doing with all of that?
Yeah, that's really been a tough one because, I mean, every single morning I've been up at 2 o'clock just sitting straight up in bed, having a little tea because there's no coffee over here, and calling back to the shop. And finally, I called back to the shop so much, they said, hey, everything's fine. Quit bugging us. So I said, okay. I got to explain to them that at 2 o'clock in the morning, there's nothing else to do except call and bug them. I mean, I can't watch TV because I can't understand what they're saying.
So who have you been calling, Baker? You've been up at 2 o'clock every morning.
I know what he's talking about. I guarantee you it's a mental alarm, and when it goes off, you just have to sit up like he said. I'm getting, you know what's scary? I think I understand a little bit of what you're saying now.
That is a formidable... You've got to think about that a lot. Baker in Japanese? Excuse me. We'll be back in a moment.
Freshness hotline, what's the problem?
Man, my party is lame. I think I got some skunky beer.
Sir, relax. When was your beer born?
Born? What are you talking about?
It doesn't have a born-on date?
A what?
Do you have any Budweiser?
No, man, you gotta help me.
Okay, remain calm, sir. We're on our way.
New Born on Dating from Budweiser, because fresh beer tastes better.
No! Sir, put down the skunky beer and slowly back away.
Sad, isn't it? Finding out you paid too much for your stereo. Circuit City. You can't find a lower price. We guarantee it.
Taxi!
On December 13th,
Is it my imagination or didn't we arrive in a limo?
Tom Cruise is sports agent Jerry Maguire.
What can I do for you, Rod? What can I do for you? Show me the money. Say it with me one time, Jerry. Show me the money. You can do better than that, Jerry. I want you to say it with me, then, brother. Show me the money! Louder! Show me the money!
Congratulations, you're still my agent.
Jerry Maguire, rated R, opens December 13th.
Like a rock, I was strong as I could be. Like a rock, nothing ever got to me.
At the end of the day, there's only one full-size pickup that's best in initial quality.
Like a rock.
Chevy CK. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it.
Sunday morning on TBS, the epic story of love and war. Winner of 8 Academy Awards, Clark Gable, Vivian Lee, Gone with the Wind. Sunday morning at 10:35 Eastern on TBS.
The pressure on the pit crews here in Japan is not exactly like it was in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago.
Bye, home.
All right, 30 laps complete of the first 50 here.
We ought to tell everybody that each garage area has a TV camera in it with the standings, and they can watch their driver going around the racetrack. That's what everybody's looking up at when we go into the garage area there.
Those monitors have been used all weekend long. Everybody's really appreciated that, and they've kept track of the practice, and every time they've been in, there they are, right there. It gives you an idea. And that's for every single car that's here. And that's why they weren't just in there dozing. They were carefully analyzing what their cars were doing on the track. Right?
Exactly. They could see the problem. As the driver would come in and say, I'm loose up in turn 6, they say, we know, we can see you.
Good stuff. All right, we're ready to go back under green. As they come by, they will have completed 30 and be working lap 31. See if anybody's going to try to make a move down this main straightaway. A little bit of a block there by Jared. Look at Jeff Gordon peel on the inside. Hard to see that 30-foot wide first turn. They're still too wide a little further back.
There's something funny. You could see Dale Earnhardt and his truck driver there, Ron Hornaday, as they got together getting in the middle corner there. Hornaday lost.
Defending truck champion. Such an impressive year for him. So Wallace stays in front. Everybody has to look up and look out for him in that lead. And Sterling Marlin sticks right there in second with Gordon in third.
See Ernie Irvin's car getting a little bit tail happy as he started towards the front straightaway there. This racetrack is a great racetrack, and aggressive drivers can attack it, but the grip is a little bit off. Earnhardt looking under Dale Jarrett as they started down in the corner there.
Dahlin back up in there as well. And you see Robbie Gordon continuing to on the charge, trying to bring himself up. He's in 10th spot. Ron Hornaday is driving the number 45, and he's right behind Earnhardt in the number 3. That's 6th and 7th position out there.
Look how close Sterling Marlin gets now. This is the bumper cam. Look how close he gets right in the middle of the corner there.
Really showed you what that bumper was for. Wow. Sterling Marlin taking a lower line out of that 8th corner. And this is where you can really pass, and this is where you just use up the brakes after just one lap. Those brakes are cherry picked. They are hot on this track. And it was the big concern in the louvering they did to try to keep those brakes cool on this course. A lot of homemade technology out here today. So Gordon lies third. Ernie Irvin stays fourth. Dale Jarrett right there. Look at Terry Labonte in the number 5 pulling up on Robbie Gordon. Terry Labonte back there in 5th. And Nakaya leads the Japanese contingent. He's up to 12th position. There's the suspension cam going to work, Rusty.
Well, yes, Rusty's suspension cam. You can see the spring really going down there. It's moving about 3 inches, as you can see as he goes in the corner. It's really working that shock and spring up and down. Now this is down the straightaway. You can see it's got about 1.5 inches movement, but in the corners that thing is really getting a workover.
Gordon getting aggressive. He wants to try and find a move on Sterling Marlin. Remember the move that Terry Labonte made to win that Grand National race at Watkins Glen? The one corner up there where you're not supposed to be able to get a pass. And he scooted through and took the lead. I think we may see some of that here today. Let's go to Dick Bergman.
Another guy that'd like to make a move past one more car, at least, is Terry Labonte. Gary Dehart's his crew chief. Your car is running in 11th. Why is that one spot so important to you?
Well, if we can make it to 10th, Dick, we can go ahead and start at the 50-lap mark. That's in 17 laps. We can start inverted start, and we'll start 1. So we need to make up that one spot really bad.
So that's like passing 10 cars if he gets by this one more, Ken.
Race for the bubble back there.
Thinking man's race. That's what he's trying. He knows that they're going to invert. Now, these guys don't care about inverting. They want to win second.
But back there, the struggle is for that 10th position right now. Robbie Gordon has it, and Terry Labonte is trying to take it away.
See the 28 there, the 4th car in the line, that's Ernie Irvin. He is really attacking the S's. I watched him just a little bit ago. He pulled down some 8 car lengths in one straightaway on these guys.
8th position is Wally Dallenbach. Bet he's happy where he is for the moment. Out the back of Terry Labonte, looking back at that 11th place man. Robbie Gordon. Oh, is that correct? Has he got around? Looks like he has. Robbie Gordon has been passed by Terry Labonte, who is into 10th, and there you have it. You see it right there. The 42 is looking up from outside the top 10 now. Terry Labonte's put the move on. So Terry Labonte going to 10th position. Going to drop Robbie Gordon 1 spot, and then the Kyle runs right behind him. Mike Skinner having a really good race at the present time in that number 31. And the international folks watching that number 1 car.
That's Tequita.
And he is a tough racer. He's running in 12th at the present time. Here comes Gordon up on the outside, and he's going to take 2nd spot.
What a move on the outside down the front straightaway to get by Sterling Marlin and take over 2nd spot. As you can see, the 28 car moved in there, and Sterling had to move to keep him from getting under him also.
There's the quartet out in front and about a 3-car gap.
Yeah, but that's trouble, that 3-car gap. That's Earnhardt, and he's on the move. He is really catching this front group.
Indeed it is. Earnhardt has picked up a spot. He's around Jarrett, and he's closing in on those leaders.
You can see he's running a real wide line through the corners. I think Earnhardt might be having just a little bit of chassis problems right now, but he's driving the wheels off at number 3. As you can see, he's caught the front group now.
We're getting our pictures from Japanese television, and they're hanging right with you. I would imagine they've done a lot of Formula 1, and they're pretty used to the idea that they stay pretty much in formation, which is a whole lot different than what we see in stock car racing, American style. Here's the new challenger for Rusty Wallace. It's now Jeff Gordon taking a crack at Wallace for the lead. And laps 37 have now been completed. 50 laps, they'll invert the front 10.
You can see how aggressive Jeff Gordon is. You can see him drive right up on the back bumper of Rusty Wallace. As they come into turn 8, he's holding a little bit lower line, gets a little bit sideways coming out the corner, which gives Rusty Wallace just a little better drive off the corner. But watch Gordon in the corner, how Jeff Gordon closes in on Rusty. He's trying to make the pass.
He's there. Down into turn number 1. It's Jeff Gordon scooting into the lead. Rusty Wallace falls back into that 2nd spot, and Gordon moves away by 4-car lengths at turns 3 and 4. Take a look at how he did it.
Okay, what happened there is the 2-car Rusty Wallace realized that the 24-car Jeff Gordon had really made up a lot of ground on him. When he pulled to the inside there, he just gave way. There was no point in really putting up a battle with Jeff Gordon. You can see he's pulling away as we speak.
Certainly has the power to the ground out of number 24. Battle for 2nd spot here as Sterling Marlin tries to close up and take that spot. Here he comes.
I really believe that Rusty Wallace is going to go back to that 10th spot so he can start on the front.
You think so? You think he's letting them pass?
They said they were going to make the choice as to what they were going to do late in the run here. So you can see him. He's dropping back and letting them go by.
Back to 4th position is Wallace. That would put him out into the 6th spot on a restart, and here comes Earnhardt after him. Earnhardt will go for every position he can get in every race.
I guarantee you he won't pull over and go anywhere. But if he pulls over, he's going to be going forward. got very, very wide getting into turn 8.
Well, he may be backing up. On the other hand, do you think that
he lets
he's running
Earnhardt
out?
go by on the inside? Now, we'll know he has a problem if he drops further than 10th. But right now, he's just dropping back through the field. I think Rusty has made a decision, or he's really having a problem of some kind.
Dale Jarrett pulls up to take a shot at him. Moving the field around, you now have Gordon in front, Marlin in second, Ernie Irvin in third. Earnhardt has picked up a spot to fourth. And you got Wallace in fifth, and here comes Jarrett in sixth. Wally Dallenbach say seventh. Skinner is now eighth. Terry Labonte to ninth, and Gordon to 10th.
See Jarrett looking to the outside. Look what a tremendous lead, though, Jeff Gordon has built over Sterling Marlin.
Steve Burns has an update. Maybe he can tell us what's going on with that 2-car.
Ken, we're here in Rusty Wallace's garage, and I walked over to team co-owner Don Miller, and I said, "Are you guys having a problem?" He said, "We're a little loose."
A nice wink, huh?
Trying to loosen up the pole for the second 50. All right, Kenji Momoto, do you have a report for us?
Yes, I'm with Mr. Suzuki. He's the crew chief of the Mr. Tsuchiya. So actually, he crashed last Monday. So he's a Superman. He rebuilt everything. So 現在車は全然大丈夫ですか？クラッシュの影響何も出てませんか？
出ないです。大丈夫です。
土屋さん何か言ってますか？
いや、楽しいって言ってます。
Okay, so he just said everything is fine. Mr. Tsuchiya said on the phone, I'm enjoying.
Okay, his dream is to go to NASCAR Racing Tsuchiya, and he really did have a crash back on Monday. He took the entire front clip off that car number 1.
He
but
did.
Tsuchiya's in 12th position, buddy.
He did, and Robert Yates' team rebuilt that car for him. It's a Richard Petty look-alike, the paint job and all. It even has the stickers on it, just like Richard Petty's car. But I will tell you this, Robert Yates, if they not got in there and worked on the car, he wouldn't have been in the show today.
There's the McClure, number 4. And the McClure brothers came here to watch this car run. We'll stay right with you to the end of the segment. We're down to 42 laps complete. 8 to go in the first segment. Then that 15-minute break. We'll talk to Rusty himself about what was going on out there.
Well, you know, he got loose on the 40th lap. That was a strange thing.
Well, right now, he's still holding right where he was, is he not? There you see the 28 of Ernie Irvin scooting through.
You know, I'm seeing a little bit of smoke out of the 4-car of Sterling Marlin. I hope that maybe it's not anything terminal, but the car is running great, but I do see a little bit of smoke every once in a while as he goes into turn 1. That's brake smoke on the O2 there.
Now you see Wallace, and we're looking further back in the field now. There's the 42 of Robbie Gordon, who has that 10th position.
That was Nakaya, and he was really on the brakes. You could see with our camera a while ago, he was smoking the brakes pretty bad getting in turn 1.
Ooh, Fukuyama, number 23, has gone for a bit of a ride here. Gathers himself back up. Let's see if we can see what happened to him. Yes. Running in 14th position. He gets a look at the world from another angle. And back at it. Dick Berggren has another report on pit road.
Well, Ken, you folks were talking a few moments ago about the O2. Nakia having a smoking problem. He should have a smoking problem. Nobody's had more engine trouble than he has. They are on their 6th engine since all of this started. Their problems began when they tried running regular pump gas, 87 octane pump gas in the car, and they blew an engine. They put another one in it, ran at 9,600 RPM, blew it, put a third one in 48 laps, blew it, blew the next one in 46 laps. He's on his 6th engine. They hope, they think maybe they've got all the lines clean enough so that thing's going to run all the way, but the smoke is not a good sign.
Did he say 9,600?
Something like that.
Well, he'll use 15 if he keeps doing that. These race engines are developed to run around 9,000. When you go over that, boy, they'll get in trouble.
Look at Ron Hornaday in here. giving that rig a ride. Right up by Ernie Irvan, and he's into 4th position. Ron Hornaday.
Ron Hornaday did a pit stop just a little while ago and come out with the leaders. He's a ways back now.
Put him down 1?
Yeah.
Down 1, Hornaday. So with Hornaday down 1, that would mean 4th spot is still Jarrett, followed by Earnhardt, then Wally Dolan back to 6, Mike Skinner to 7, and Rusty Wallace would fall into 8th.
You can see Hornaday there with fresh tires all over Ernie Irvan, who was driving away from him not long ago. Those new tires really make a difference here.
Hornaday ready to try and make a move right here.
He'll try to really run deep here, but he's not going to get by the 28 car. Ernie Irvan is extremely fast down the front straightaway.
There's a $35,000 bonus for winning the first segment. So they're kind of rolling here whether they want that $35,000 or not. It looks like Wallace is backed out of that $35,000. Ernie Irvan staying right there.
See, Hornaday is doing everything to get by him because he knows the front straightaway the 28 car runs so well, but on fresh tires it looks like Hornaday is cornering quite a bit faster than the 28 car of Ernie Irvan.
He's in 21st position, Hornaday, with that pit stop. The 21 coming back out. Remember, it ran the first 4 or 5 laps. Yanked out a transmission, and they're back on the course another time. That's the number 30, and here's the 02. That's Nakaya of Japan in the 10th position, and that's the car that's been eating up engines all week.
Nakaya, he's looking back at us. Look at that.
I tell you, there's a pretty good strike right there for Robbie Gordon. He needs to get by him. Make that position up. That becomes critical. Gordon has dropped back into the 11th spot by our count. And Nakaya in the 02 is in 10th. Here's the 21 back on the track.
You see that's excess oil there. I'm not sure exactly what
that's not going to work.
It's still smoking.
Michael Waltrip in the 21 having some real problems out here.
I was kind of concerned when I watched all the oil coming out of the car down the front straightaway there that it might be just a little more than transmission.
Nakaya in the 02, shown in 10th spot. Robbie Gordon just behind him in the 42 at fall. Here he comes. Nakaya slowing down in the main straightaway, and that's right where he popped an engine yesterday. It was right there that he had one erupt, and it looks like it's happened to him again. Nakaya, who is up in the top 10, slowing down and coming in. Ernie Irvan is spun. He's coming back out, buddy.
Yeah, he's getting back up to speed, but you can see all the dust back here. That's where Ernie Irvan got around sideways.
Down to the last 2 laps, and Nakaya in the 02, his rig has come to a halt. As of yet, no sign of a full course caution. Down to the end of the first segment with Jeff Gordon still leading. Sterling Marlin in second. Take a look here.
Boy, I mean, Ernie Irvan's lucky right here. You can see him as Hornaday coming at him, goes to the inside. He rights the car, no harm.
Hornaday a lap down on the binders to miss a sliding Ernie Irvan. Leader coming up, Jeff Gordon. Last lap of the first segment being unwound right now for Jeff Gordon. Sterling Marlin staying second. Ernie Irvan was able to pick it back up. We'll see where he comes across, and Robbie Gordon is spun. That's too bad. He had himself up to 10th. So he'll have to come out of the back of the field on this one. And there's the flag, I believe, for halfway. Ernie Irvan is able to ride it and get back out there. And that's the end of that first segment, with Gordon winning and Sterling Marlin in second. Looks to us like Ernie Irvan is able to get back out there, buddy, and come across in third. Dale Jarrett had to lift for him. He finishes fourth. Earnhardt fifth. And Wally Dallenbach right here in number 50, the 15 Hayes car, comes up in the 6th position.
Whoa! Look at Robbie Gordon get into those soft tires there. That's quite a bit of damage to the rear of that car. You could see it just kind of buckle as he hit the inside wall. He better be glad those tires were there and that wasn't concrete.
That's what Dick Bergen was talking about earlier, those soft walls and what a difference they would make. Well, the Hayes car for Bud Moore had a good ride.
Kenny's doing that with the broken rib also. He was injured in Atlanta, and he's driving that car. All the turns are to the right, and he has a broken left side rib, so it's got to be painful.
We'll come back to review the first segment, give you the standings here shortly as they're bringing the field around, and they'll come in for that 15-minute halt. That'll give us a chance to talk to some of these guys about their strategy out here on the Suzuka course. First time we have seen NASCAR-style racing outside the United States in full flavor. That pace car this afternoon, they brought 12 officials, and with the death of Elmo Langley, Bill France himself took over to drive the pace car today here at Suzuka. Field coming down on the pit road for 15-minute halftime with Jeff Gordon, Marlin, and Irvin, the front three. Dale Jarrett in 4th, Earnhardt in 5th, and they'll invert that order. Johnny Benson comes up to 10th when they swap them around. It'll be fun to watch Jeff Gordon try to fight his way through these guys. This is certainly not the only kind of racing we've seen at Suzuka. They had the go-karts. They had them out here on the main course the other day. Yes. And it was there you see Ron Hornaday. And as he is so many times, getting himself involved in a ticklish situation.
This Sunday on National Geographic Explorer, mummies, the ancient art of preserving bodies has come back from the dead. Mummy Hunters, National Geographic Explorer, this Sunday, 7 Eastern, only on TBS Destination Sunday.
Celebrate 50 years of NBA action with those who made it great. Call now to order the official NBA at 50 video book and cap. Use your American Express card and receive a special offer, plus a contribution will be made to the American Express Charge Against Hunger program. Ask your operator for details.
This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will corrode and fail. But Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone zone of protection against corrosion. It's your car. Protect it in the Prestone zone. And now there's a new Prestone antifreeze with a new low-tox formula for an extra margin of safety around pets and wildlife. New Prestone Low-Tox. It's extra protection in the Prestone zone.
For the gold, the new Rebel G. Get the ultimate rush.
Sorry, dinner's late. Had to take apart the strut assembly on the minivan. Oh.
So how was practice?
We had to do thrust angle alignments again.
We are on CV joints.
Dad, after dinner, can we replace the rack and pinion on the station wagon?
We can't all be suspension systems experts.
We'll see.
Oh.
At Midas, that's okay. Because whether your car bounces, pulls, or vibrates, we'll explain your options so you'll know what to do. It's the Midas way. A better system for you and your car. Midas, auto systems experts.
Promotional fees and consideration have been paid by the Miller Brewing Company.
Back to you once again at Suzuka. Picking up some of the cars around the course after the first 50 laps have been run. 50 more go in this 140-mile race, and we'll give you a whole rundown right now. There's the top 10 that will be inverted, which will put Johnny Benson and Terry Labonte up in row 1, and row 2 will be Rusty Wallace and Mike Skinner. Row 3 will be Dallenbach and Earnhardt. Row 4 will be Jarrett and Irvin, and row 5, Sterling Marlin and Jeff Gordon on the restart. Now taking a look back to 11 through 20, just outside that group, Scott Gaylord came up with a good run, buddy.
He did. You know, he had a problem and got turned around right at the first part, but ended up 11th. Good run for him.
Showing Robbie Gordon finishing in 16th spot after he slammed into the barrier just at the end, trying to stay up there in that top 10. And take a look at the remainder of the field here. Joe Bean had trouble very early, transmission problem for Michael Waltrip. Obrist had some problems. Herschel McGriff was off the track. Took that car in with a blown engine. So there you see the lineup after the first 50 laps have been completed here in the Suzuka Thunder Special 100. Steve Burns.
And Robin Pemberton and the crew working on Rusty Wallace's car. Rusty led most of the first part of this 50-lap first half. Rusty, yeah, you started backing up there a little bit. How are you?
I'm okay right now. It's just I started losing the front brakes, and when I started losing, I said, man, there's no use pushing. I'm going to get in the pits and see what they can do with it. They worked on the right front corner trying to get, it looks like the brake ducts are clogged up with rubber. And so I think we'll be okay right now, but I wasn't going to run it. The brake pedal's starting to surge a little bit on. It was better just to let her breathe it and try to get this thing to the end.
All right. Well, then maybe Don Miller wasn't winking after all. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Here's a switch for you. Look at all these media guys. They're not around the guy that just won the first leg. They're all around Josiah. I am all alone here with Jeff Gordon. I'm the only journalist here. What a switch. You had a good run in the first half, Jeff. How about the second?
Well, it's going to be a little bit tougher to come up through there. I think some of those guys that couldn't work their way up there just, knew that we were going to be inverting this top 10 and, decide that the second segment's the most important one. But, hey, we're here to put on a show, and if my car's capable of going to the front, then we're going to do that, and that's what we did the first segment. I want to say hi to Ray and Rick and all those guys at home. They're missing out on all this fun, and we're going to try to win our first road course race here.
Yeah, his regular crew chief, Ray Evernham, is not here. Brian Whitesell is his crew chief. This is the first time in Jeff Gordon's entire Winston Cup career he has not had Ray Evernham on his side. All right, let's go to Steve Burns.
And Sterling Marlin sitting in the car talking to his crew now. Sterling will be the first to admit that he's not the world's greatest road course racer, but you were up front all day.
Well, we just come over here, and the guys worked real hard and come off truck pretty fast. And, I like this course. Pretty fun. So we're having a good time. I tell you, the Japanese people have been great, and great bunch of spectators, and we love it over here.
All right, Sterling, thanks a lot.
That truck he came off was a cargo container that hauled that thing some several thousand miles here to Suzuka, just 300 miles southwest of Tokyo, Japan, where the stock car action is today.
The Suzuka 100 on TBS is brought to you by the makers of Chapstick Lip Balm. Don't take chances, take Chapstick. And by America Online.
What's in a name?
Peekaboo Street for a new chapstick.
I train a lot. It's cold. It's icy to starcher! Without the right equipment, it's just intense, especially for my lips.
New chapstick lip moisturizer with vitamin E, a moisturizing formula that conditions and protects to help heal dry chapped lips.
When I'm training, I'm not the lipstick type. I'm the chapstick type.
New lip moisturizer, only from Chapstick.
It's worth it when you win.
What's possible these days? Email with color and pictures. Your own personalized newspaper. Instant stock quotes. The entire internet, one click away. I mean, all the things you find only on the world's most popular internet online service, now more affordable than ever. I'm telling you, it's like living in the future. The future, now available on America Online.
Mercy. That'll keep you warm at night. They get prettier every year.
Earl, dinner!
You thinking about trading yours in for a newer model? No. 35 years, never done me wrong.
Go ahead and stare. It's a genuine Thermos brand.
Nice.
It blew up again. Back with you once again at Suzuka on TBS. Let's take a look right now at the Week in Racing, brought to you by Auto Week, America's only enthusiast weekly. And the story is right here. Over 500 NASCAR personnel moving to Japan for this event that you're watching tonight back in the United States. Over 1,140 tires were shipped over from England and the United States. And all racing fuel had to be brought in for it. About $1.5 million spent for equipment and personnel for this event here in Japan. Call 1-800-232-1522 now for a 52-week subscription to Auto Week at the special TV price of just $19.95, lowest price ever. Every week, Auto Week is first with all the inside news of racing, personalities, driving impressions, everything. So call now for Auto Week at 1-800-232-1522. Don't delay. The offer is limited. So, the guy that's now on the poles with Dick Berggren.
Johnny Benson finished 10th. That means he's going to start out first. He's ready to put the car in gear and fired it up. John, a lot of work to the front end of the car. What happened?
Well, I guess Robbie Gordon wanted to...
he's gone, Ken. He's going to go race, but they were beating on the right front of that car. Robin Pemberton from Rusty Wallace's crew was down here, gave him some advice about how to take off on the start. It will be interesting to see how all that works. Steve Burns.
With Larry McReynolds, the team manager for Ernie Irvin and Dale Jarrett. Larry, man, you guys were busy down here. What were you doing?
Yeah, both of our cars has been really good since we unloaded here and had a good qualifying effort, really good qualifying effort with Ernie. And, you know, this is exciting. I got to say, I was one of the ones that was very skeptical about coming over here. But these people, they have accepted us with open arms, and it's really been neat. And I guess the interesting thing now is we finished third. Now we're going to start back here about 8th. So got 50 laps to get back to the front. I got to say, from all the guys over here, our hearts go out to Elmo Langley's family and to Bill Dollar's family, and we'll be praying for you guys and thinking about you, and look forward to seeing you when we get back home tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Larry.
Bill Dollar, one of the personalities of racing over the past years, with a very popular radio program from coast to coast, killed in an auto accident in Charlotte, North Carolina this past week. And as we mentioned earlier, Elmo Langley lost his life, a heart attack here at this track, and there have been numerous phone calls. If one would care to make a donation, it's the Winston Wives Auxiliary, to which it should be made, in the memory of Elmo Langley. Well, here we are getting the field lined up and ready for another go. Take a look at the Prestone race summary. 2 different leaders thus far, Wallace and Gordon. Cautions, only 3 to date, Rusty. Your name is Buddy.
It is that, yeah, Ken, and I'll tell you something. I was looking at Rusty Wallace just a second ago, and I think he actually spun out before he got any heat in the tires and got a chance to shake some of the debris off. He turned the car around going out of the pits into turn 1.
Brakes?
Well, it could have been. Hopefully not. I hope that maybe it was just a tire problem, not having any heat in the tires, but he definitely turned it around going out of the pits down in turn 1.
See if we can get a report down there as to what did happen to him as they get ready on this restart, and find out if there is a brake problem on Rusty Wallace's Ford Thunderbird as we get ready to go in the second segment. And there you see them trying to get those tires clean. As Buddy pointed out, this surface doesn't work for these drivers at all, does it, Buddy?
Well, until you get some heat in the tires and get all that excess rubber off of it, it's extremely slick, and that's what they're doing right now. They're going back and forth, and if you could see this, it looks like spaghetti coming off the tires, the excess rubber that you pick up. It just boils off the tires as you go back and forth like that cleaning them.
Take a look at the starting order as we get set for this second 50-lap segment with Johnny Benson and Terry Labonte up in front, and starting third, Rusty Wallace with Mike Skinner in fourth. And right behind them, 5th and 6th, would be Wally Dallenbach and Dale Earnhardt. Going further back in the field, the 7th and 8th spots are Jarrett and Irvin. And then you've got Sterling Marlin and Jeff Gordon for row 5. That's the completion of the inversion of the top 10. Row 6 is Scott Gaylord. And Toshiya, that number 1 car, is up there to 12th position. Further back in the field, you've got David Green and Fukuyama in the number 23. Rick Corelli out of Denver and Robbie Gordon in the 42. 16th, Bobby Hillen, Butch Gillian, fine drive. Let's get down to Dick Berggren quickly.
Ken, that number 42 of Robbie Gordon's is pretty badly beaten up. They tried to straighten it out a little bit as best they could. The left rear quarter is still bent. Tried to align the front end. It's only about half right by the looks of it. Gordon is going to have his hands full. Nakia, the guy in that 02 car that's blown all the motors, he's back out running again. But they had to push start the car in 4th gear. He apparently has a transmission problem.
So it was a transmission this time.
Well, if it's hung in 4th gear, he's going to labor going up through the S's because everybody else is going up through there in 2nd gear.
Pace car is in second 50. What do you think, buddy? This one coming up?
Well, now we're going to find out who has the muscle, who was telling the truth about the cars, because it's down to this for $104,000 that they take on.
Johnny Benson getting a very nice start. Terry Labonte comes up to speed. They stack him 4 wide back in the center of the pack. And coming to the critical turn 1. Who are you going to give it to?
Whoa, Rusty Wallace gets a little bit straight into that corner, you know. He may have had a little brake problem getting down in there. Now he tries to make a move on the inside there on Johnny Benson.
Benson not moving ground, fighting it through. Got one loose in the back of the pack. Picking it back up is Larry Gunselman. And he's underway, but he had a slow start. Got himself out in the dirt. Meanwhile, Terry Labonte is in front with the number 5. As the field springs out and moves up through turns 6 and 7, headed for turn 8. Johnny Benson, the Pennzoil car, into that 2nd spot, followed by Wallace and Wally Dullenbach in 4th spot.
You can see Rusty Wallace in the 2 car there, really holding a nice tight line off 8 as they come down the front straightaway. We'll know pretty quick whether Rusty Wallace has a brake problem or not. You can see him right there. There's Dale Earnhardt. Here comes Rusty on the inside. Johnny Benson holds him off.
But Earnhardt gets around Dullenbach, and he picks up 4th. Earnhardt shooting up through the field, ready to challenge Wallace now for 3rd position.
Right now, you can see Johnny Benson trying to keep that 2nd spot, but Ken, he's working very, very hard. I think he may be holding these guys up, and Earnhardt is definitely on the move in 3rd spot.
Mike Skinner back in 6th spot, on board with Terry Labonte now, looking back at Johnny Benson in 2nd spot.
They're heading into turn 8 right now. This is where you set everybody up to make the pass down the front straightaway. You can see their nose to tail as they come off the corner.
Big Johnny Benson crowd has got together in Grand Rapids, Michigan to watch him. His sister put the program together. You know, there's about 2,300 members of that group, and they're hoping he's going to stay in 2nd spot. Wallace comes to the inside. See the work this time.
He did that because the 3 car, Dale Earnhardt, took a look, but look at Rusty make that move in turn 2. What a move.
So Wallace comes up into 2nd. Benson drops to 3rd, and Earnhardt stays 4th. You see Dullenbach in 5th, Skinner in 6th.
You can see Earnhardt got just a little bit in the back of Benson there. He got a little tail happy, but backed off and let Benson regain control of that car.
Dale Jarrett back there in 7th, followed by Ernie Irvin. Top of the hill, and down the stretch they come. As you see, Terry Labonte still in that front-running position, and an anxious Rusty Wallace crew looking on.
Very smooth driver against a very aggressive driver. As they head down into turn 1. Terry Labonte is very, very smooth. But look at Rusty go through turn 2. What a complete package that car is right now. He's not having any brake problems now.
And take a look right there. Here's that number 3, Earnhardt, trying for 3rd. On the outside, he gets it.
Now that's aggression. When you see a guy, I saw a car going straight back there. I think he made it through the sand trap without any problems, but there was a car that didn't quite make the turn. Look at Rusty go now.
Wallace right up there, closes in.
They don't get any closer than that. You can see Terry taking a wide line there.
Here they come down into the main straightaway. Labonte in front, Wallace coming after him, and just behind them, 10 car lengths back, is Earnhardt, now in 3rd. Turn 1. Labonte holds Wallace off this time. Now Wallace tries again on the inside, and he's there. Wallace down the inside, jamming on the brakes just at the critical moment, and able to slam through on the bottom.
He found that in practice. He told me about passing in turn 2 on the bottom side. You can see he just drove it in deep, right up under Terry Labonte. Terry had nothing to do but give way.
There's his crew looking on as he's taken the command position in this Suzuka event as Don Miller watches here, looking a little relieved. Second spot is now Labonte. Long way to go in the second segment, however, and Terry Labonte, I have a feeling, will be back around. Tires begin to wear out, get a little thin. Nobody's better than Terry Labonte, and Earnhardt up to third. Johnny Benson back in fourth, then in fifth, and here comes Wally Dallenbach looking for fourth as we come into turn number 1.
Now you can see Earnhardt. He watched just a second ago as Rusty Wallace made that nice move to the inside in turn 2. He looked under Labonte as they come into turn 2 just then.
Japanese television giving us these pictures that you're watching live on Saturday night. Sunday, back in the United States. With Buddy Baker, I'm Ken Squire, topside here at NASCAR's first venture outside the boundaries of the contiguous states. Here you see Terry Labonte looking back at Dale Earnhardt. There's Earnhardt coming to the inside, trying to make a move through. That's that critical turn 8, and it's Earnhardt with the move coming down the straightaway.
It's a drag race now, but it looks like Earnhardt got just a little bit better grip off the corner and down the front straightaway by Terry Labonte. I guarantee you he's going to make it a little tough on Rusty, I think.
Got a couple of heavyweights ready to duke it out up in front here now as Earnhardt closes in on Wallace. Wally Dallenbach finds himself fourth, and now all of a sudden that Dallenbach car becomes even a bigger factor in this race. He's a great road racer, has all that experience, the 85 and 86 Trans Am champion, had a couple of second places, one at Watkins Glen, has always been able to conquer road courses very handily. And for Bud Moore, that would be something to have a car running up here and running this well. Take a look. Here's Johnny Benson, who's moved back another spot. Is that? Yes, indeed. Skinner just in front of him. Ooh, we got one in trouble. And back on the course is coming car number 42, and it's crunched in the side now. Robbie Gordon. He really took some abuse. There's no caution on the track. But we can show you what happened to Robbie Gordon right there. Wow. Well, he's tested all the safety apparatus here at this track.
He just tested that sand trap out at 140 miles an hour. I'll tell you one thing. It didn't look like the brakes were ever touched on the car. I think all the damage you see there on the left front corner of that car was done bouncing through that sand.
Robbie Gordon was running in 14th position when that one went away. He is fearless. And with his plan to be in Winston Cup racing next year, he's going to add a lot of excitement to the 1997 series. And we'll be back with more from Suzuka and the coverage of this first international NASCAR race very shortly.
NASCAR's extreme. Don't they just go around in circles? Yeah, but when you're circling with the big boys, things tend to get a little extreme. You got a problem with that? NASCAR, extreme and always has been. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR, and always has been.
It's over, Decker. Give me the disc. Forget something!
The Black & Decker Workmate, now with a larger work surface and one-handed clamping.
show off.
Workmate by Black & Decker. This is an 83 Malibu. We got it for a wedding present. It's got a lot of sentimental value. Got a few dings, but it has almost 300,000 miles. This car has been a car, a truck. It's been everything. I've done all my own maintenance on this car. I've been adding Slick 50 regularly, and it continues to run so great. I've used Slick 50 from the moment I got this car as a gift. My son's into karate, and he's very good. We take him to his lessons. We put 400 to 500 miles a week on this car.
There are miles and miles of Slick 50 stories. That's why it's America's favorite engine treatment. Why float through life when you can drive?
This Sunday on Topics, Angels on Their Shoulders, hear the real-life stories of guardian angels from the people they protect, the comfort, the power, the mystery of angels. Topics this Sunday, 9 Eastern, only on TBS Destination Sunday.
With 60 laps complete, 84 miles there of the front 10, there is one new change. Ernie Irvin has just scooted around Johnny Benson, taken over 7th position. Johnny Benson falling to 8th, and Jeff Gordon is ready to challenge him. And David Green, the number 95, has just got off the course, and he's back on another time. Buddy, take a look at this one.
Wow, he just did exactly the same thing that Robbie Gordon did. He went in the corner, got offline, maybe got the tires out in the loose stuff there on the outside of the turn. Lucky to get back on the racetrack without stalling it out in the sand trap.
So Owensboro, Kentucky's David Green still with the program out here. Let's go to Steve Burns.
With Jimmy Means, who is Wally Dallenbach's crew chief, and also a man who's driven hundreds of NASCAR races. Jimmy, Wally's a heck of a road course racer, but can he catch Rusty?
Well, he's having to drive the car awful hard. We're a little lack on gear or motor or whatever. Getting off that last corner, they're getting us on the straightaway. He's really having to overdrive it. So if the car doesn't give up on him, he's going to give it all he's got.
And that's exactly what he's doing right now. Dallenbach in 4th position, trying to close on Wallace, Earnhardt, and Jerry Labonte, the front 3. Here you see Wallace and Earnhardt. And Earnhardt has picked up a couple of car lengths on Wallace in the last lap or 2.
Well, that'll go back and forth. What they do is really run hard, and then they start abusing the tires, and you have to back up just a little bit, give them a little chance. But I tell you who's not backing up any at all. You can see Terry Labonte there in the yellow car coming down the front straightaway. Just behind him, Wally Dallenbach is driving the wheels off that car.
A lot of the drivers said that they somehow didn't get the gears right. They just didn't bring the right combination for that second gear back straightaway. But Dallenbach at the present time continues to put the pressure on, and whether he's short on motor or short on gear, he is such a good driver that he's making up for it and staying right here in the front 4. The big story, Jeff Gordon further back has now moved into 8th. He has gone around Benson. Remember, he won the first 50 laps, and he just came here and wanted to go racing. So he's having to fight his way from 10th place after they inverted the front 10 at the end of the first 50 lap segment. We'll take a little break here and then be back with you once again. Oh, Baker, there's your home in Japan.
Oh, man. 2 big ones.
Big Shots with Eastwood and the Duke continues with True Grit next on TBS.
If you're a real car enthusiast, you should get Auto Week every week.
Auto Week has the latest news because it's a weekly.
All the new models and all the racing news. It's all in Auto Week every week.
I'm into going racing with my buddies, and Auto Week gives us information to talk about before it's old news.
Call 1-800-232-1522 now for a full year of Auto Week at the lowest price ever. Just $19.95 for 52 issues. For true car lovers, once a month is not enough.
I drive 150 to 200 miles a day. Well, my truck's my life. If it weren't for my truck, I wouldn't be making any money. So wherever the houses are, I go. And my truck's got to get me there. I learned from my grandfather used Pennzoil, my dad used Pennzoil. I've been using Pennzoil for about 15 years, ever since I got my first car. I go through it by the case. I work hard for my money, and I want to make sure my money's working hard for me. I buy my oil at Walmart. I'm here all the time, and I know I'm going to get the best prices, and I don't have to shop around anymore. Nobody touches my truck but me. That's my baby.
When you have kids, you practically live in your car. So when something goes wrong, they come along.
That is Midas in Richardson, Texas. Buddy Pace put in a play area.
People's needs vary, but the Midas system for taking care of cars never does. We give your brakes a thorough inspection, we explain your options so you'll know what to do, and we guarantee brake shoes and pads for as long as you own your car.
It's the Midas way, a better system for you and your car.
Kids we don't fix.
Midas, auto systems experts.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? You're out! Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue #1, so don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
Ace is the place in Benicia, California. Ace is the place in Pineville, Louisiana. Wherever you go, Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks.
Sunday afternoon here in Japan as the Suzuka Thunder Special 100 thunders towards conclusion. Pretty good crowd out today. Hope you're enjoying it on TBS back on Saturday night. In the United States, Rusty Wallace is leading after 66 of 100 laps with Earnhardt, Labonte, Dallenbach, the front four. Jeff Gordon is on the move after they inverted the top 10. He was the winner of the first 50 laps. He's brought himself back to 8th spot. There you see one of the Japanese favorite, the national touring champion. In the #1, Toshika. He's back on track, but a moment or two ago, he had a moment or two that was pretty wild and got himself off the track, bent the car up a little. Dick Berggren is standing by. Tell us more about it.
Well, we're with David Smith, and today is his last day to be crew chief for Dale Earnhardt. He's going to move over to Mike Skinner next year. Question to you is, you guys are running second to Rusty Wallace. You strong enough to take him, and if so, where?
The car's really good. You know, we're just trying to manage the tires right now, trying to keep him under him. You know, he's not saying anything, so I think he's in good shape.
Yeah, if Earnhardt's quiet, look out.
Quietly sitting in second spot. Fukuyama in the 23 coming by here. That's in 12th spot. And Toshio right behind him is in 13th position. Then Rick Corelli in the number 61 is in 14th. There's Fukuyama. And he is in, as we say, 12th spot. And he is running on the lead lap. 15 cars running on the lead lap at the present time here at Suzuka in Japan. In the number 3.
Earnhardt's doing all he can do, but right now Rusty Wallace is in the zone, as they say. Right now he's doing everything right. You can see him getting the car down in the corner very straight. Earnhardt's doing everything he can to try to close in, but he's just not making it.
It's been a happy Earnhardt all week. He's really enjoyed Japan, and he's been very positive. He has spent considerable time with the fans over here. And then when it gets to race time, doesn't matter where it is. Short track, road course, long track, super speedway. This son of a gun can drive. Here he is, 45 years old, badly hurt. He won't tell you how bad, but he hurt and big time after Talladega this year. Lost the championship, but still 4th in the standings. And here he is fighting it out on a road course, 7,000 miles from home, and looking good.
You know one thing, they're getting into lap traffic right now. This may be a break for Earnhardt to try to close in on Rusty Wallace. As you can see him coming up there right now on the 37 car there of Larry Gunsman.
Dan Obrist has just pitted again, having trouble with the number 12. What do you call that one? Here's that 37. Got someone right there. Now Wallace is trying to, and he
whoa, it didn't take him very long to make that move.
No. And someone gave him some room, let him scoot through. Gordon having to fight his way in. He's still back there in 8th, folks. If you were wondering about Gordon, won the first 50.
Boy, Earnhardt, he turned that thing right down in that corner. Gunselman gave him a little bit of room, but I thought they were going to make contact as they were going through the S's.
Dale Earnhardt chasing Rusty Wallace. Here he is back in the main chute, completing the 71st lap. What is coming here to Japan meant to a guy like Dale Earnhardt?
We came over the first time and did the introduction for NASCAR, and that was a pretty exciting time for us and myself, and I was honored to do that. And to come back and race in a foreign country like this, as far off from America it is, and we've been a whole day off, but it's really fun to be here, and it seems like everybody's receiving us well, and it's looked like it's going to be a good thing.
Carrying blue colors for AC Delco while he's in Japan, not the traditional black colors, because the sponsor has a lot more ties to Japan. Therefore, a whole new look on car number 3 for this special event to conclude 1996 in NASCAR racing. What do you think a super speedway is going to do here in Japan in time to come?
I think they're going to get a fan base and just a little bit over here, because the people really have enjoyed this week, and this kind of thing is what they come to see. You can see Dale Jarrett looking on the inside of Dallenbach as they head down into turn 1. I think it'll just take a year or so for everybody to say, okay, I know who this guy is, I want to see him win, and that's where you get all your fans from.
4th position is what they're fighting for, Dallenbach and Jarrett. Dick Berggren standing by with Felix Sabatis down there at this moment.
Yeah, Ken, this is a fellow that made himself a couple of personal fortunes right here in Japan, but today's a little unhappy with his race car because it's bent up in about every corner. How bad is that, number 42, Felix?
Well, you know, on the first segment, we cut our left rear tire with 1 lap to go. We were running 10th. He ran off the track. And after we came back out, the car hasn't been right to begin with. So we've had a lot of problems with it. But, hey, we've got an experience. Robbie's young, and he's going to be good. So we're going to give him some practice time today and go to Daytona.
And next year, Felix is going to take Robbie Gordon to Indianapolis. He has put in the order for 2 cars, and he's going to try to run Indianapolis and Winston Cup.
And that means Charlotte the same weekend?
That means he'll be flying from Indianapolis over to Charlotte. It's been done before, and I'm sure it'll be done again by Robbie Gordon. And let me tell you, everybody says he's a little too aggressive. You can rattle that. You can't make it if it's not there.
Good point. And he certainly is one that gives you a wild show as you remember his events. He came out of that desert racing and trucks where he just absolutely dominated. He's used to improvising. And certainly Earnhardt had that reputation when he began.
He did that. And I will tell you this. Right now, Earnhardt looks like he may be closing the gap just a little bit on Rusty Wallace for first place. But right here is a real action right now. These guys are going at it. And how good is this guy going to be? Oh. Mike Skinner in the number 31 there. He's running right up front. Has really had very little experience in a Winston Cup car at all. You can see him right up there with some of the best.
Yeah, but look at Gordon back there in 8th. I mean, here he is. He went just out and raced the wheels off that thing. Took the 10th position. Just wants to go out and race. And here he is right back ready to challenge Ernie Irvin for 7th and Skinner for 6th.
He'll find the knot on that rope a little harder to climb now, though. I'm going to tell you, this is for all the beans now. This isn't for the first segment.
Took that bonus. Here he is skipping up to the outside, trying that line. As he comes down this main chute, if you're just joining us, you get about 170 miles per hour here. Then you're hard on the binders into a 30-foot wide first turn. And you got to be right or you're not going to be in this race. Wally Dallenbach in 4th position. And we'll be back with more of our live action after we send you another postcard from Japan here on TBS.
Right from the start, to be a winner was always born from the tradition of hard work. It takes every individual working together in the shops, garage, pits, and on the track. united by a single goal, giving their very best to win as a team. It's what makes NASCAR such a great American sport.
Aluminum. Most new car radiators are made of it, making them a big target for pitting and failure. But Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone zone of protection against corrosion. This winter, protect your car in the Prestone zone.
Leave it to Peerless Faucet to create a shower so smart, it can not only sense when a toilet has been flushed, it can also adjust the water temperature accordingly. Scald Guard technology by Peerless. Get more out of your faucet than just water.
Folks, please remain calm. It has been confirmed. Everyone can now buy a DSS system for as low as $399. And with a year's prepaid subscription to DirecTV, also get $200 cash back. DirecTV apologizes for any mass hysteria this may cause and stresses again, it's got to be DirecTV, satellite TV at its best. Repeat, DSS, $399, $200 cash back. We all act civilized. We can get through this thing. Question?
These two VCRs are identical, but the one on the right has something the other one doesn't. A lower price. Circuit City. You can't find a lower price. We guarantee it. Get more boombox for your buck. Circuit City. You can't find a lower price. We guarantee it.
Change among the leaders. Wallace and Earnhardt and Labonte stay 1, 2, and 3 as you watch Wallace debating some lap cars to move along. Dallenbach stays 4th and Skinner 5th. But Jarrett had himself a problem, and he is backed up from 6th into 8th spot. Here's what happened to him.
Well, you can see he's in a straight line right here, and he just pulls way over to the right side of your screen there and just backs off and lets all these cars go by. That usually is a brake problem or a real handling problem. There's something wrong with the car.
So it brings Gordon up into 7th spot, and Steve Burns can tell us more.
And we're with Todd Parrott, the crew chief for Dale Jarrett. Are you guys having a problem, Todd?
Yeah, we've lost 3rd gear in the transmission, and right now he's just having to go from 2nd to 4th. It's a shame. We had a really good car, and he was just getting ready to make a move on Wally and move up to 4th and try to get Terry, try to finish in the top 3 and get up on that stand here in Japan.
Thank you.
Tsuchiya in the number 1 running 15th. That's the 2nd time he's been doing a little grass cutting here today. I'll show you that one again. That looks like the old Richard Petty line in Riverside, California. Remember when he used to cut straight across?
I resemble that statement. I've been there myself.
Well, he's back on, and I don't think he lost a spot. But the guy that's on the move at the present time, or the guys, are Skinner, Urban, Gordon. And Gordon finds himself up to 7th. Sterling Marlin coming to 8th now as Dale Jarrett settles back to 9th. He's lost that 3rd gear, and the only time you really use it is coming off turn 8 and down the main straightaway. When you make that shift, if you haven't got it, lose some RPMs there for a moment.
Well,
That's
when
exactly
you have that problem, you always wonder if you even pull it back for high gear, whether you're going to have anything at all, because there's loose parts in that transmission when you lose a gear.
Wallace stays in front. And there you see the interval back to Earnhardt in 2nd.
You know, the incredible part this weekend, Rusty Wallace has never talked about 2nd place at all. Even in our little soundbite earlier when he was taking us around the racetrack, and he was saying he come over here for one reason, that's to win the race, and he really hadn't had time to do the things he wanted to do because he wanted to win this race, and he is doing a great job right now. That car looks like it's on a string out there.
Looks like it's on the end of a string being swung around as you see it go through those corners. Johnny Benson is staying 10th. The Benson fans all together up there. I'm sure his dad is there tonight. Watch John. Of course, his dad was a well-known racer too. And Johnny Benson Jr. here in Japan for the Pennzoil folks stays now in 10th spot. There's that interval, 1st to 2nd. Laps, well, we've completed 81, and that gets us down to 113 miles completed of the 140 in this event. with 81. There's 19 laps to go.
Well, what we're getting into now is the part of the race where if the tires are starting to give up, you can see Rusty fishtail just a little bit coming out of turn 2 as he starts up through the S. Now the real chassis cars really take over, and the aggressive drivers, because nobody's handling great right now. The tires are starting to give up.
We'll take a commercial break and come back to Suzuka for the conclusion of this first venture outside of the United States for NASCAR's big leads.
This Friday, TBS is going to make your day your whole day. 24 hours of Eastwood. All day Friday. Turn to TBS if you feel lucky. Well, do you, punk?
Freshness hotline, what's the problem?
Man, my party is lame. I think I got some skunky beer.
Sir, relax. When was your beer born?
Born? What are you talking about?
It doesn't have a born-on date?
A what?
Do you have any Budweiser?
No, man, you gotta help me.
Okay, remain calm, sir. We're on our way.
New Born On Dating from Budweiser, because fresh beer tastes better.
No! Sir, put down the skunky beer and slowly back away.
Face it, no other razor shaves closer or with more comfort than Gillette's Sensor XL. Soft microfins that protect your skin and individually spring-mounted twin blades that adjust to your face. No razor feels more comfortable during your shave or leaves your face smoother after. Gillette's Sensor XL. And try new Gillette Aftershave, a splash that moisturizes as it refreshes.
Aluminum. Most new car radiators are made of it, making them a big target for pitting and failure. But Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone zone of protection against corrosion. This winter, protect your car in the Prestone zone. And now there's a new Prestone antifreeze with a new low-tox formula for an extra margin of safety around pets and wildlife. New Prestone Low-Tox. It's extra protection in the Prestone zone.
Timex with Indiglo Nightlight, the wash that lights up the world.
At lap 85, there's another full course caution here, and it's the first one in the second 50-lap leg. Gunselman in trouble. Number 37, Larry Gunselman, having a problem out here that has brought out the caution. He's a West Coast driver, came over expressly for this event. Gunselman finds himself out in the weeds there after he was running in 23rd position. Bill France driving the pace car out here today, just in front of Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt first and second, as we get ready to bring them all back together for a shootout to finish it here today. So earlier we talked with the Bill France about the future of this event and NASCAR racing in Japan. Here's what he told us.
Well, we have a 2-year, 2 more years. In the 3rd year, you know, they're going to open a new oval track up north of Tokyo. So, you know, that event will be more patterned after what I think what you see more on television over here from since we're more on ovals than we are on road courses. But beyond that, you know, that'll be in a lot of respects up to the Suzuka people on what they're doing, and we'll have to see how this event does. You know, people in the United States know who the drivers are, big time. But overseas, I don't think quite. You know, there are maybe some other drivers know more than they are because they've been exposed more. So it'll be good for the drivers to get some additional exposure.
And for certainly the fan enthusiasm for other sports in this country is such that it's a whole new world and a new marketing opportunity for NASCAR. And one of the interesting things is that they're talking about a NASCAR series with Japanese cars here in Japan.
It ought to work. You know, Wally Dallenbach just stopped. He's the only front runner that come in for a pit stop just now. So strategy is being played right now by the Bud Moore team.
Some of the fans looking on here this afternoon. Understand that France, after the first 50 laps, they put another fella in the car, but he is not driving the pace car at this moment. So let's get down to Kenji for a moment, who's standing by on pit road.
This is a Suzuka racetrack, so we've never had the oval course in Japan. So, but we will have the oval course here. Okay, this is a map, or actually the picture of Twin Link Motegi. So actually this race course is owned by Honda Corporation, and also this Suzuka circuit is also owned by Honda Corporation. So Honda is going to be very serious to bring the NASCAR race. So we have a lot of American action in the future in Japan.
1.5 mile oval is what they're talking about for Japan in the future, and in a couple of years ready to run it. Suzuka, of course, famous for its Formula One, and as Bill was saying, that track is a little closer to Tokyo, and the Honda people, who had a great part in building this course, are fully behind the construction of this new super speedway next to the largest city in Japan. Now you're looking at what, Fukuyama another time?
That's him.
Yeah, let's see how he's doing out here today. Well, he's up to 12th. He's having a good run for
very consistent.
Travis.
He spun one time earlier in the show, but I tell you, he's doing a great job. And I tell you, I was talking with the guys that are working on the car, and they said, you just wouldn't believe what he knows about the chassis on the car.
You know, among the more popular sports, one to go, and we're going to be going again, I believe, and get us down for a shootout to the finish. Toshiya is back on pit road in that number 1. That car had been running in 15th position. We're going to take a commercial break. I think we're going to stay right here with 86 laps complete as we get ready on this restart. Wallace, Earnhardt, Labonte, Skinner, Gordon, Irvin, top 6. Tribute to Elmo Langley. Side of Oprah's number 12 as it comes back out again, and all of the cars here in Japan remembering Elmo in that manner.
Yeah, and everybody's going to miss Elmo. I tell you, they depended a lot on what he did as far as whether the track was ready to go back under green or what, and we're all going to miss him.
Dick Berger. Ron Hornaday is in the pits right now, and half his crew is underneath the car. They appear to be working on the transmission. Yes, he's got a transmission problem. They're trying to fix it so he can get it into gear. Hornaday is an absolute expert at road racing, and a lot of people thought this could have been his race to win, but not with this kind of problem.
Here you see Hornaday, car jacked up. It's a bad break for him. He had a good run in the first 50-lap segment. Not going to work his way for the rest of this one. Broken tires there. All right, they're coming down, and they should be getting green this time by as they come off turn number 8. As they come, you'll have Wallace, Earnhardt, Labonte, the front 3. Skinner in 4th, Jeff Gordon in 5th, Ernie Irvan 6th, Sterling Marlin 7th, Dale Jarrett 8th, Benson will be in 9th. Gaylord find himself in 10th position as they come back to take green. Good performance by Gaylord, Scott Gaylord out here today. This is the first time he has driven for this team, invited by Bill Strausser to run this race.
Here they come for the green flag. Jeff Gordon has really moved up into 5th place. You can see Terry Labonte getting sideways there as he got touched by Skinner as they started off there. Jeff Gordon got by him.
Pulling back to the line. Here comes, let's see, Ernie Irvan pulling to the inside. Looks like he's going to get by Skinner coming into the corner. Does it. Makes the spot. Gordon making the big jump. Gets himself closer to the front. He muscles himself up into 3rd. We've got number 20 off in the weeds.
That's Wakita.
Yeah. Dusted out number 20 here. Wallace stays first. Wow, Gordon right there. Take a look at this move.
Hello, sand. I guarantee you one thing. Without that sand, we'd have a bunch of torn up cars here.
So Waukita bogeys here as he enters the first hole.
You talk about bogeying right now. Jeff Gordon is boogieing. He's not bogeying. Look at this car go down the straightaway as he tries to make a move on Earnhardt headed toward turn 1. I tell you, Jeff Gordon, I said the knot was going to be a little further apart, but Jeff Gordon showing why he is what he is today. Very aggressive, very knowledgeable, and doing a great job in the 24 car there.
88 of 100 laps complete, and Gordon is there all over Earnhardt. You've got the veteran against the kid in that one, and just behind him comes Terry Labonte. He's looking for any opportunity. Where it's narrow, where it's wide, doesn't matter. Uphill, downhill, Gordon wants to get up into that second spot and challenge the leader.
Boy, is he putting the heat on Earnhardt or what? He's 1 inch off the back bumper as they head towards the front straightaway. You can see Jeff looking on the inside. Kind of fishtails here. He loses about a car length. You can see he didn't get a good run off turn 8.
Threw it in there, and he had to pick it back up. It cost him just that much to let Earnhardt go uncontested off turn 8 and back down to 1. And once again, it'll be Jeff Gordon clambering back up for another shot at it.
Oh, Mike Skinner's off the course. He went it. He better be careful there.
Nearly got that one shortened up on both ends as he came back on the track.
That's Wally Dahlin back in the 15 there. He stopped just a second ago and took on tires. He's the only one of the front runners out there on fresh tires. I do not believe he has the time. Oh,
Fukuyama has hit it big time.
That's some of the tires out in the racetrack. As you see the cars coming out of, that's about 10 or 12 tires together there.
Full course caution as Fukuyama at turn 1 goes in solidly. Man, what a hit. Full course caution out for Fukuyama after he goes off at turn number 1.
You can see him getting out of the car. That's a good sign. That was a hard hit, but you can see him getting out under his own power, so he's okay.
They have just run totally out of brakes going down there, and we got a couple of replays we can show you of this 3-time Formula 5000 champion for Nissan. There's Skinner getting in trouble in the 31 from a little earlier, and just missing the bullet as he comes back on the course. Fukuyama there on the outside.
He got tagged from behind there and turned into the outside there. You can see him hitting the tire barrier very hard.
Turn 2. Turn 2 area is where he ended up. And they may put a red flag on this to get Fukuyama's car back as it lies very close to the track. We have completed 90 laps. There are 10 remaining to decide it. They're talking about a full course red. They're showing just a yellow here now. Had a report for a moment that they were going full course red. Not the case at all. Here's Fukuyama walking back after he takes the hardest hit anyone has taken today. Hey, American sports in Japan, you talk about baseball, you talk about their interest in other activities. Take a look at David Green, one of the biggest pastimes in Japan. No turkey there.
These two VCRs are identical, but the one on the right has something the other one doesn't. A lower price. Circuit City. You can't find a lower price. We guarantee it. Get more boombox for your buck. Circuit City. You can't find a lower price. We guarantee it.
Dear Dave, after session last week, we had your smoky bacon cheeseburgers. One bite and we said, man, whoever made this has paid his dues. 3 strips of hickory smoked bacon, smoked cheddar with that sauce, all on a quarter pound of fresh beef with sauteed onions. Dave, it was so delicious, Lucille and I played a whole set of Lowdown Blues. Your pal, B.B. King.
Here, B.B. Keep smiling. You'll beat those blues yet.
Try Wendy's Smoky Bacon Cheeseburger Combo.
All across America, you're there to see us through.
Racing engines endure severe stress.
And your engine does, too. That's why, under severe service driving conditions, Jiffy Lube recommends service every 3,000 miles. And we offer Pennzoil.
3,000 miles to make us smile. America's Jiffy Lube.
Jiffy Lube, America's favorite oil change.
This Sunday on National Geographic Explorer, mummies, the ancient art of preserving bodies, has come back from the dead. Mummy Hunters, National Geographic Explorer, this Sunday, 7 Eastern, only on TBS Destination Sunday.
We're back with you live at the Suzuka race course here in Japan on TBS. This special event live today with, right now, Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt having a discussion as they came down the main straightaway. Earnhardt had pulled up beside Rusty, and they were, I'm sure, discussing more than what they were going to do for dinner tonight. Right behind them, Jeff Gordon has added a big factor to this race, and Wally Dallenbach pitted, took on tires, went way back, 17th or 18th. He's back to 10th. That'd be interesting to see what will happen with him on the laps. Here's number 95, David Green, the Caterpillar car.
This is really hurting Dallenbach as far as his strategy. Every lap that they run under the yellow right now, he's having a problem. He won't be able to make up the time.
Number 31, they say, is dropping some fluid on Mike Skinner's car. That's the report that we're getting from NASCAR. And we'll go to Steve Burns and see what the story is on pit road.
With Travis Carter, the car owner of the 23, and I've known Travis a long time, but don't know as I've ever seen him this upset. Travis, what happened?
Just from the monitor, it looked like a boneheaded move by Winston Cup regular. I mean, the 15 had just changed tires, and obviously it's going to be a little quicker, but he just drove into the back of this guy and wrecked him. It's a shame. It's a shame for the fans, of course, here in Japan. You know, Fukuyama was one of their local heroes, and tremendous guy, great competitor, and one of the finest men and most fun people we've ever been associated with. So I know it's a disappointment for him. It's a disappointment for us and all the fans here in Japan. It's too bad. He ran well. He worked hard. We sort of started him in a hole, hurt him some, but the guy's quite capable of racing with these guys. I think in a good situation, he could beat them.
All right, thank you, Travis.
And that testimony, that testament to Fujiyama has been going all week, as we mentioned earlier. They're very excited about the potential of him in these races. Well, you see Terry Labonte trying to get those tires cleaned up and get himself ready for these last final moments. They're working lap number 93, still under caution. I would think we would get going with 3 or 4 laps to go for sure. And
hopefully so, yeah. Because there's, I don't think we've watched all the story yet. I think Rusty's going to have to work very hard, and I also think Jeff Gordon may have the fastest car on the speedway right now, but he has 2 people to get by.
Travis Carter taking a shot at Wally Dallenbach there, says that he was rear-ended by him, and that's what ended Fukuyama's day. They were serious yesterday afternoon in the Cecil Gordon Travis Carter, and I said, boy, this is a guy you wish you had back in the States. 41-year-old Japanese driver that's just crashed here and crashed as hard as anyone has all week. There you see the remains of that number 23, Jimmy Spencer's ride, as we get ready for the 1997 season. That road racing car needs a little work,
I'd say.
So, as we get set on the restart, Wallace, Earnhardt, Gordon. Couldn't ask for more, with Terry Labonte perhaps putting the frosting on it in 4th position. Ernie Irvin right there in 5th. Sterling Marlin has come up to 6th position. 93 complete. We should be getting this one turned loose in just a moment here. I'm really impressed with the effort that's been made by Jeff Gordon. There you see the lap marker down here on pit road. They have a great big team that is right in front of the grandstands, so they can follow them all around the road course. Big help for the Japanese fans, for any fans on any racetrack. And they certainly, they've had 4 events here in the last 5 weeks. They've had a Formula 1 event, they've had a touring event, a motorcycle event, a regional event, and now this last race of the season. It is winter here in Japan, with the NASCAR stars coming to the Orient for the first time.
Ken, this is when you don't want to have a bad start. As you can see, the 2 car has really jumped out there. What a great start by Rusty Wallace.
Boy, he put it on coming down.
See him shaking those wheels a little bit to make sure he does not have any buildup on the tires as he goes down in turn one. You can see him wiggling the car back and forth at speed.
So Earnhardt stays in second. There's Gordon looking to the inside. Gordon beginning to make a move. He's up there fighting, and the 3 takes him right back out.
I was just fixing to say, if he passes Earnhardt on the outside, that's new hero material for the year. I'm going to tell you, you don't do that.
Great battle for second spot. From 10th up to 3rd is Jeff Gordon. Terry Labonte lying just behind him, and Ernie Irvan. What a good job Irvan has done today.
Irvan, and also there in the 4-car, Sterling Marlin has run very well all day.
Outstanding racing by these principals of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. And back into the main straightaway in this battle for second. There's Jeff Gordon right there, ready to pounce.
I think Jeff's just feeling him out right now. He has a lot of race car. He's looking to the inside of Earnhardt as they head into turn 1. He's not going to make it.
Man in black. He may have turned blue for the day, but he's still the man in black right there.
He's still tough.
Don't want to mess with him. From Labonte looking back. Ernie Irvan right there. 5th spot. Just behind him, Sterling Marlin. Well, another go at it. All over the back end of number 3 is Jeff Gordon.
Well, while they're fighting, you can see in the top part of this film right here, the 2-car of Rusty Wallace is checking out while they fight like they're going right now. Dale Earnhardt is trying to protect second right now.
And Terry Labonte got moved out of the line there. He got pushed over. Ernie Irvan's coming up to challenge him. Watching this film. This is live.
I know it. I know. Look at Ernie Irvan, though. He moves right by Terry Labonte.
4 to go. Yep. Sterling Marlin now ready to take a shot. That all happened up in turn 8. Ernie got up on the back of Terry Labonte. Got him a little loose. Got him in that main straightaway. There a spot or 2.
Ernie Irvan's really moving up on these 2 while they fight it out. Earnhardt's doing everything he can to keep Jeff Gordon back. Ernie Irvan's moving in here.
Ernie Irvan in 4th, Labonte in 5th, Marlin in 6th.
Now what he's doing there is messing with Earnhardt. He's moving over there just to give him something else in the mirror to worry about. Look at Jeff Gordon trying to make a move on the outside. Now he's coming to the outside.
We've got another flag down. The number 50's broken loose. Scott Gaylord's going to put us under caution with 3 to go.
Oh, my. These guys know it's a race back to the flag, too, so they're going at it.
This is to the flag, and this could be to the end of the race. So that battle is pretty intense. Here they come up the hill for the final time. It is still Earnhardt with that advantage for second spot.
Ernie Irvan is fun, I think. He was just behind Jeff Gordon. I don't see him there anymore.
Big hole, and indeed, as they race to the line, there's the 4 in trouble as well as it came off the corner. Back to the line they come, and the front end is gone on the number 4. He was in contact with the 28 of Ernie Irvan, just making the turn. Wallace comes across the stripe, racing to the caution, and we can show you what happened here. Take a look.
Well, you can see just behind Jeff Gordon, the back of the 28 gets out. You can see Terry Labonte doing everything he can to get to the inside.
Ooh.
The contact that the 4-car had was with Terry Labonte.
And I think he got a piece of Wally Dallenbach as well in the 15. So the number 4 of Sterling Marlin, front end abused. He trying to find his way back to pit road. Take a look at that.
Flat tire, and probably did some damage to the oil cooler because it is right there on the left corner of that front end on the 4-car.
Wallace, Earnhardt, and Gordon, the top 3. Terry Labonte was able to squeak through some way on that. But, gee, Ernie Irvin and Sterling Marlin and Dallenbach looked like they were collected on that one.
Ernie was doing what you have to do, and you're to race back to the flag.
An in-car look at what happens. Hard contact there. The 50 has been pushed back in. It had been broken down. They brought it in under this opportunity and tried to make one more lap, and that didn't work. But this incident happened battling for position, going for it, up here in that final portion of the course. We're showing 98 complete, working 99 this time by.
You know, Ken, if Wally Dallenbach had have made a run all the way on the green flag, he's moved all the way up to 5th, he would have been a contender, I believe, by changing tires.
I think we're getting a white-green right here. You're going to get a white flag, white-green, headed for checkers.
Boy, this ought to be wild. You can see them shaking the cars down through there to clean the tires as they head down to turn 1. Here comes Gordon on the inside of Earnhardt.
Gordon holds third spot. Now he's trying for second. He's up on the inside. Even across. What a battle for second place.
That was his chance. I don't believe he can get Earnhardt, but he made that bold move on the inside in turn 2. He's looking on the inside of Earnhardt again.
No points, just pride right here. Takes another shot at him. Gordon is right there. Works down to the inside, and from that car just in front, he's great. Rusty Wallace looking back at the field. They go through the S's.
Okay, what he has to do now is exactly what he's doing. He put the bumper to him just a little bit to move Earnhardt to the outside. Jeff Gordon fighting on the inside.
Here they come for the checkered flag. Wallace coming down, Gordon on the inside. And as they come to the line, oh, you want to call that one?
I'm going to wait for a replay.
Wow. Looks like Earnhardt may have pulled it off by just that much. What a move by Gordon as he tried to loosen Earnhardt up in the final corner. We saw the same thing before with Ernie Irvin and Labonte. Replay of the finish coming up here at Suzuka as the 2-car. Rusty Wallace has won, and the battle for second place goes right to the wire.
We know where to put a camera car, don't we? Look at this. Ow. Well, thank you, guys. It was our pleasure.
We'll take a break and be back here at Suzuka. Rusty Wallace has won it, and what a dramatic finish between Earnhardt and Gordon.
Big Shots with Eastwood and the Duke continues with True Grit next on TBS.
Hey, what do you mean NASCAR's extreme? Don't they just go around in circles?
Yeah, but when you're circling with the big boys, things tend to get a little extreme. You got a problem with that? NASCAR, extreme and always has been. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR, and always has been.
Promotional fees and consideration have been paid by the Miller Brewing Company. And welcome back to Suzuka City, Japan, where Rusty Wallace has just won the first race here in Japan, standing on top of the car victoriously. But he is definitely the crowd favorite here in Japan. Arms raised in victory. Well, Rusty, you said you're coming here to win this thing, and you did it, man.
I really did. I'd like to dedicate this win to Elmo Langley, who passed away this week. But what a great win. The crew really did good. The first segment, we had too much tape on the grills, and the car kept getting the brakes real hot. So I lagged back to cool them off, and they got some tape off, and man, she was really cooking after that. But great win. We paid a lot of attention. I wish my wife Patty was here, and Roger Penske, and Walt, and Dan, and all of them. But this is for you guys. The old Miller Special really came through, and I'm really happy with the Miller Brewing Company and Mazak Corporation and Mead and Mobil and Bosch and all our sponsors, especially this Ford, man. This thing really ran good, and I can't be happier.
Rusty, at the end of segment 1, did you think you could get to victory lane?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I started in the second row there behind the 30 car, and I knew the only thing I could do is just try to go through the gears. And I picked a point in the middle of 1 and 2 where I had to get the throttle and go for it. And I went for it, and I got the 5 car, and I got the 30 car. But what a great car. It handled perfect. The motor ran good. I turned it about 9,400 all day long. Mike Eggett, she's okay. She's still living. And the guys at the shop, you're to be commended for this one. But 7,000 miles, 14 time zones, 7 continents. Baby, we'd be home on Monday night.
Will you come back to Japan?
Oh, yeah, I'll be coming back to Japan. I just about got it figured out right now. So what a great win. I mean, we get the pole, we get the Winston bonus, we get the Unocal bonus. But all my fans back in the United States, thank you very much. But my team, led by Robin Pemberton, what a great job, and the shocks were great. Everything was great. Just can't say enough for everybody.
All right, congratulations, Rusty.
Thank you very much.
Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, Jeff Gordon used all the tools he had to try to get by Dale Earnhardt. The front bumper a little bit damaged. How about that ride, Dale? Was he fair with you?
I don't know anybody say he won't put the bumper to you, but in all honesty, we were pushing real bad, and the tires were burnt off the back, and he was doing all he could without turning me. He did everything but turn me around to get by me. We raced a pretty good race to the line, so it was exciting. Rusty, I thought, was going to mess up there. He locked his brakes up, and I thought Jeff and I both were going to be on him, and then I didn't know what was going to happen because they're going to be in the middle of the punching bag, and it was going to be exciting, but it was a good race. I'd like to have won it, but, you know, it was okay. I mean, it was the first trip to Japan, and run second ain't too bad, but second sort of feel the same way I do in America about it. It ain't good.
And, Jeff, how about you? What'd you learn from this fella followed him?
Well, I learned that I shouldn't have won the first half. I know that, but you know, I wanted to see what my car had, and I had a lot. It was a great car, and we were able to drive it up to the front. Had some fun there with Dale at the end. I mean, I think we really put on a good show for these fans, and especially those last couple laps, everybody was just going all out. And we showed, you know, that we weren't just here to play. We're here to win, and you know, I think those last couple laps proved that. And I was side by side on his bumper, at his bumper, and you know, I just couldn't get him. But that was a fun race, and we're glad to be here in Japan and can't wait to come back.
How difficult is it to ride behind a guy, keep tapping him like that, and not take him all the way around?
Well, you know, you race with guys enough. you learn how to race them, and you know what you can do with them and who you can trust. And I think Dale knew I was on him, but you know, I could hit him just hard enough to get him sideways. But even hitting him and getting him sideways wasn't enough, you know. And I wasn't going to take it any further than that. I wanted to get up beside him, and I did coming off the last turn. I just couldn't put the pedal down to get by him because I was spinning the tires. But you know, we missed Ray and Rick and those guys. But you know, now it's over. I think we had a great experience, a lot of fun, and this team is great. I mean, we really had a lot of fun, but we worked together, and everything went great.
Okay, let's go back to Victory Lane.
Well, we're back topside. We're looking down at Victory Lane. Rusty Wallace celebrating here in Japan after this victory and this great day for NASCAR racing. Going international. Let's take a look at that finish. Rusty Wallace to win. He had it covered. Battles for second spot. What a battle.
You can see Jeff right there has it all down. He's up under Earnhardt as they start down the front straightaway. Right there, he didn't have the jump that he should have to beat Earnhardt back. Earnhardt won this second place by probably maybe 6 inches. It was too close for us to call up here.
It was a great finish, as Earnhardt did come home in second, Gordon in third, Terry Labonte credited with fourth, and Wally Dallenbach driving for Bud Moore gets himself a very respectable fifth. How about John Benson? Hey, up there in Grand Rapids, things look good for Johnny. 6th place today.
The Suzuka 100 on TBS is brought to you by Ryobi, the complete line of power tools with pro features at affordable prices. By Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time. And by Mobil Motor Oil. At Mobil, we've been changing oil for over 125 years.
For years, one rotary tool set the standard. There was nothing better. There was also nothing else. But now there's a premium rotary tool, the Ryobi multi-tool. It shapes, cuts, sands, strips, routes, grinds, and polishes, all with more power for a lot less money. The Ryobi multi-tool, just one of our many premium power tools that give you pro features at an affordable price.
The world is a magical place, and one camcorder captures it like no other. Only this Panasonic camcorder has a 16:1 optical zoom, a motion sensor for automatic recording, a full-size 4-head system for brilliant pictures, and tapes that play in your VCR. Only Panasonic gives you all these features. Now get a $25 rebate on select models for a limited time.
Before cars had phones, cup holders, or even roofs, Mobil Oil was there. When Lindbergh crossed the Atlantic, Mobil was on board. Mobil was in the world's first minivans, in the first space shuttle, and in the tanks of Desert Storm. So if you think that all oils are alike, think about something. At Mobil, we've been changing oil for over 125 years.
Is that the right size battery for my car? It doesn't seem to fit.
Don't worry, we'll make it fit. We've been doing this a long time.
It's not going in. Just keep hitting it.
I'm not comfortable with we'll make it fit.
Why not? If it fits, it fits.
It's perfect. Good job.
Pep Boys has the right battery at the right price. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price, tires and service too. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
Well, the 47th victory for Rusty Wallace will come with an asterisk, not part of the regular season at all. But what a special day for everyone here at Suzuka in Japan. Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon battling all the way to the line, and then it was decided in favor of Earnhardt by about the width of a bumper. Take a look at Lance Hooper, the Winston West champion, coming home in 11th. Sterling Marlin, what a misfortune for him back there after running up in front all day. Gave a great performance. And those are some of the ones that were out early. Joe Bean, Michael Waltrip, Herschel McGriff, Dan Obrist had trouble all day. Larry Gunselman. So there you see the celebration going on down there to honor the champion today, Rusty Wallace. I think we can go back trackside. You want to go to Kenji? Is that where we're going to?
Yeah, we need to go down there.
Let's see if we can find out.
Yeah, Mr. Fukuyama, so he did a great job. Everybody was impressed with his driving style. But what happened? どうしたんですか？
ターン5に入っていこうと思ったら、ドレンバック選手が結局ニュータイヤでちょっと焦ってたみたいね。それで後ろでなんかアクシデントがあって、その煽りを食って僕にダーンとぶつかってきちゃった。
So actually, Darimba pushed him the tail side, but actually somebody hit the Darimba, probably, by the kind of the chain reaction, he said.
Was a chain reaction.
でどうですかこのチェーンリアクション、英語でチェーンリアクションって言うんだけども、そんな感じでその後どうだったんですか？体大丈夫ですか大体？
体は大丈夫です。体は大丈夫です。でもレース後半になるとみんなねハードプッシュしてくるから、もっとミラーを見る余裕が必要だな。
He said he's going to have the great future about he want to have a much more the relaxed feeling, but everybody is very serious at the end, almost the end of the race. So it happened with the racing accident. So he don't want to say that somebody's fault. So this is the racing.
Okay, Baker, what'd you think?
Well, I think Earnhardt did all he could do today to hold on to second, but I think the man we're looking at, Rusty Wallace, showed us why he's a great champion on road courses. He did not make any mistakes. The car was great and the crew was great. And, you know, this is a world-class course that they conquered today. And I think Rusty Wallace proves that we can race anywhere.
It's been our pleasure to bring it to you. little history in the making? Well, we'll see in time to come. After 50 years, NASCAR goes outside the United States for the first time. You've been watching it live here on TBS. And as we look to the future for NASCAR racing, let's just say stay tuned. We understand there will be a Japanese series in time to come. And this is where it all began. You were part of it, watching Rusty Wallace win at the Suzuka Thunder Special 100. For Buddy Baker, Dick Berggren, Steve Burns, Kenji Momoto, I'm Ken Squire with you here in Japan on TBS. Sayonara.
Sayonara.
Leading sports television into the 21st century, this has been an exclusive presentation of Turner Sports.